This is the KMAX Sports Network.
Stadium on this Friday night. Lights action here as the Cedar Ridge Raiders are on the road to take on your Vista Ridge Rangers. It's the Scott Elzer Mitsubishi Motors broadcast of Rangers football right here on the KMAX Sports Vype Media Network. I am Johnny Baeza along with Nicholas Peters. Jace Andrews filling in for Gabriel Gomez. Margo Baeza here helping us in the booth for spotting duties. And our QA, Randy Fry, all the way from the state of Missouri. Hope everything's all good at the Show Me State. As, Nick, a big win over Leander, 59-41 the week before, and then last week, a great first half for the Vista Ridge Rangers, down 7-0 at halftime, and, Stony Point made that adjustment, started throwing those little screen passes, and they're off to a 37-0 second half lead or scoring run, and 44-0 score.
Well, and we talked about it last week that it was an absolute tale of two halves. I mean, you've heard that phrase thrown around quite a bit, but last week was a perfect example of that, where it looked like Vista Ridge had them dead to rights at the end of the first half. A touchdown that's called back for Vista Ridge. Otherwise, that game 7-7 headed into the half. Those guys had to have a lot of confidence going into halftime and coming out into the second half. But to your point, Stony Point made the adjustments. Vista Ridge couldn't do it quickly enough, and at the end of the day, the defense was just on the field for far too long and ultimately got worn down, and Stony Point took clear advantage of that. And
the defense held Vista Ridge to under about 150 yards of total offense, and then Tingler, the backup quarterback for Stony Point, in there for Overton, who got hurt against Hendrickson, and he almost threw for 300 yards, and most of it in the second half with those little drop-offs and the receivers just making plays.
No, it was a very impressive performance by him, and you couldn't expect that or necessarily expect that headed into the game. When you've got a kid who's not played all that much, and here he is thrown into live action. It's your game tonight, son. Go out there and see what you can do. And, the second half is when it seemed like he had really warmed up and woken up, and his guys had his back, and thus he was making plays all over the field. Plus, Stony Point, with all that talent that they have on offense, all that size, all that speed, they're incredibly difficult to defend. I don't think there's any team in the district that would say otherwise. But they just put on a beautiful performance in the second half. So hopefully tonight, Vista Ridge can take what they did in the first half of last week's game and try to bounce back. But we're going to see, as you and I were looking, we're going to see a lot of changes tonight.
There's going to be a lot of changes into the starting lineup, and Cedar Ridge comes in with a 4-2 mark, 3-1 district record. It was just the overtime loss to Vandergrift in week 1 of the district's in the district opener, and looks like they started getting hitting their stride, and they beat a pretty good Stony Point team a couple of weeks back, and last week they beat Hendrickson 28-21, so they're coming off a huge win. That's the third win in a row against Hendrickson, including the two last year, one in the regional final. So this is they lost a lot of senior leadership, but they still have a lot of great players. They got Deuce Vaughn, they got Brown, they've got Dillard Williams on defense, Chavy's on defense. I mean, this is just a stacked Cedar Ridge team that Vista Ridge is going to be, they got a pretty good opportunity tonight that they're going to, do their best against.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we, when you look at it last year, and you're always curious about teams that are kind of these up-and-coming schools like Cedar Ridge, where, I don't think anybody would have necessarily pegged them to experience the success that they did last year. It was somewhat of a surprise. But then you looked at the depth, and the following year is always going to be the proof of the depth for any high school football team, and they've proved it. There was a significant amount of depth on that team. Like you said, they lost quite a number of senior leadership. However, they've replaced it, and in many cases, they've had upgrades. So, there's no question right now, this is a team that is hitting a hot streak. They're a very impressive football team to watch. Offensively, they're incredibly balanced. They will do their best to try to put as much on you in terms of points as they can. They don't try to slow the game down. They want to go fast. And defensively, they put a significant amount of pressure on the quarterback and do everything to stop the run. They're guided to force you to be one-dimensional, and that one dimension, they hope, is to pass. They love to dare you to throw the ball with those talented corners that they have on this team.
And I'm not sure if that's what prompted the changes up front for Coach Vincent and the Vista Ridge Rangers, but they're going to have James Parsons starting at center, and they're moving Greer Gerasi over to the right guard position, and that's probably one of the biggest changes offensively that, besides Matthew Thomas being starting in the tailback position, but Parsons at center and Gerasi at right guard. That's a big change.
Well, yeah, it is. And Greer Gerasi is the most talented of the linemen for Vista Ridge. He's part of the Gerasi legacy. He's the last one, and Greer has had a very good season. But playing at center, that's a very cerebral position, and he's played that role well. But I think that maybe the move, and I don't know this for sure, but transitioning Greer to the right guard position might be for A, to try to get the running game going on the right side, just because of his size and his strength, and B, also to add some added protection for either Drew Cantu or Kyle Brown. When those quarterbacks have been pressured throughout this season, it's generally come from that side. That's where teams look to blitz against them. So putting Gerasi there, you put a bigger body, a stronger person, and someone who is, he's played football his entire life, so he knows what to look for in terms of blitzing, and he can potentially pick it up, and just you do add an element of intelligence to that right side of the line.
And then defensively, in the cornerback position, you see Malachi Bird starting in the place of Naquan White, and that is a big defensive change there, as Cedar Ridge has a Division I receiver talent in Ellis. So Jalen Ellis, who's been recruited by almost every Division I school that you can think of as a wide receiver. I know he got offered by Baylor and I think UT, and I mean just the different Division I schools. And I'm not sure if he's going to be matching up with Bird, but that's a big change there at cornerback. Naquan White, a senior.
And the word that we're getting is that Naquan may not actually play tonight. We're not exactly sure what the issue is, that there might be an injury that's prohibiting him from playing tonight. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting with Malachi, a sophomore, potentially forced to cover one of the top receivers in all of Central Texas, as you pointed out. But I would expect that Vista Ridge with the defensive staff is probably going to try to roll Eamon Allen over to essentially guard Ellis most of the evening. Eamon Allen's had a great season so far. You and I have both been very impressed when he's typically been put on the opposing team's best receiver, or at least their tallest receiver, and he's had amazing coverage throughout the season.
So it's Vista Ridge hosting Cedar Ridge in a 13-6A matchup. Vista Ridge looking to make some history tonight. A big opportunity to, make a difference in the district standings here tonight. We're about 20 minutes from kickoff. We're going to take a very short break, and when we come back, we're going to see what Coach Vincent had to say, as we had a pretty nice little chat here before kickoff tonight. So you're listening to the Elder Mitsubishi Motors broadcast of Rangers football right here on the KMAX Sports Broadcast Network.
KMAX Sports is the largest online broadcast company in Central Texas. How large is that? Well, think of the state capitol if it was full of sports. I mean, the Rotunda's more than large enough for basketball or volleyball, and let's face it, anything we do in there is going to be better than what's going on right now. Plus, those guys only work every 2 years. We bring your teams to you every doggone day. Bringing your teams to you since 2003. We are KMAX Sports.
In the battle for barbecue supremacy, warriors pit prime meats, secret sauces, and recipes against one another. Yet one champion stands alone. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, in the modern-day vernacular, where bad means good. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue has the worst barbecue in Texas.
Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes is from right here in Austin. As you know, Austin has several fine burger establishments. That's why we're especially proud that Zagat has rated Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes the #1 burger in Austin. So is it Zagat or Zagat's? Like I said, there are several good burger places here in Austin. But as you know, there's good and then there's Mighty Fine. Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes.
Vype Media is the state's most comprehensive high school sports media outlet, covering UIL, private schools. Vype has been in Texas for over a decade. Visit their website at Vype, VYPE, Texas.com. And also pick up your Vype magazine today. Get in the game with Vype Media.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.
Johnny Basil here with KMAX Sports, Vype Media, talking with Coach Rodney Vincent of the Vista Ridge Rangers. And Coach, we missed each other last week, so kind of like to go back 2 weeks for those 59 points you put up against the Leander Lions on homecoming night. Boy, you came out aggressively in that game, and you didn't let go of that accelerator pedal at all. You just kept on putting the pressure on that Leander defense, and offense was clicking, defense was clicking, and 59 points later, you get your first district win.
Well, one of the big things that I told our kids before that game, JB, is with that style offense where they can just grind you out. I told our offense, every time we get the ball, there's a lot of pressure on you to score because you don't know how many possessions you'll get because Leander's so good at holding the ball for long periods of time. Told our defense we'd need 3 takeaways, and they got the 2 fourth down stops, and they got a takeaway early that helped us, helped us get a lead. But those were going in, that was the plan. We wanted to try to get our offense extra possessions and to, score every time we got the ball because, early on in that game, it was turning into a scoring fest, and we needed to get some stops. Second half, I was proud of our kids. We made some adjustments on defense, and they came out and did a really good job of getting some stops and helping us get a lead in that second half.
And 2 things that I wanted, that I saw there. Number one, you didn't punt the whole game. You scored in every possession there in the first half, and then that drive by Kyle Brown in the first half, 43 seconds left on the clock, he takes it downfield, and then Hughes comes up with a 43-yard field goal. Yeah, that was just an excellent execution there.
Yeah, and the reason that field goal was so big is it gave us they were going to get the ball coming out at halftime, and it gave us a chance to get a 10-point lead and be able to maintain that. So I was really excited about that field goal and getting a long one. It was a great drive and a great field goal.
And then off that game, you take on Stony Point last week, and you're riding that momentum. You're riding that great display of all-around football by your team. And you played Stony Point very well in the first half. Only trailing 7-0, and you go mano a mano with them for the first half, and then they make an adjustment in the second half. And what happened in that second half, Coach? You guys were playing a great football game in the first half.
Well, and I don't know, JB, if we woke them up or what happened, but you're right. We had played, going back to the Vandergrift game, second half of the Vandergrift game, we had put together at halftime of Stony Point, we put together 8 good quarters of football, and I was proud of our kids for stringing those quarters together and playing hard. To beat Stony Point, we knew we would have to be in a tight ball game. We'd have to keep. We would have to manage the clock and do some of those things because they're so explosive. And they're really good on defense. And so the first half played out about like we had hoped. We hoped that it would be a tight ball game and we could keep it tight the whole time and have a chance to win it. Disappointed in the first half. We got the ball inside the 30 at least twice and didn't come away with any points, and that was the frustrating part of that first half. But was really proud of our defense for hanging on and holding them to 7 in the first half. Second half, JB, they did a good job of getting their screen game going. They kind of got away from what they'd wanted to do, running between the tackles and all that. They started running some screens and getting some one-on-one situations, and I don't feel like we handled that real well. I don't think we handled that matchup as well as I would have liked to. And then it was like the wheels fell off. In 8 minutes they'd scored 21 points, and then we had another situation on special teams that hurt us too, JB, in that stretch. On a return that was called a safety, so we had a stretch there where it was pretty tough. Love to take that third quarter back, but can't do it, and wanted to see our kids play them down to the wire, but didn't work out for us.
Yeah, we thought that the momentum carried Cross into the end zone, and he just did the smart thing and just kneel it, but the referee just saw it a different way than we did, I guess, because that was a big call there as it kept the momentum going on their side. And
you're correct on that.
We caught wind of Darian Carter of breaking the total tackles, I guess, for Vista Ridge High School in his career there at Vista Ridge. Did he do it Friday night, Coach? I mean, I assume he did.
I know he's up there on the tackle chart. I'll tell you, it was pretty neat. It was Darian's birthday, and he got that interception too. So it was kind of a big deal for Darian, big day for him. And he's getting up there on our production chart and our tackle chart. He's got to be getting close, or if he hadn't already broken it. So.
Yeah, that was a big interception because they were driving and they were getting the ball back in the third quarter. So that was a big stop there for your for your team there. And I know the last couple of weeks there's been, I know based on some previous discussions we've had, is that all those unsportsmanlike penalties. I mean, as good as the game went against Leander, that's something that really that I know I'm probably didn't enjoy watching, is getting all those 15-yard penalties being assessed against your team. And they were penalties that were they were just trying to defend themselves, I guess. But it's something you just don't like that, right, Coach?
There are penalties that go on that are kids playing hard and playing through the echo of the whistle, and then there are penalties that will come up, JB, that are within our control, and is what I call not being smart, not taking care of our teammates type penalties, and those are the ones that are the most frustrating as a coach when those happen. Every once in a while you will get a kid that they'll get one because of a hustle deal, that type of deal, but then there are those JB that just aren't smart, and those are the ones that we have to work to eliminate.
And now tonight you face the Cedar Ridge Raiders. They're one game back of Vandergrift, and they're just a field goal, overtime field goal, I'll go away from being undefeated. So based on last week's performance with Stony Point and the week before, what does your team need to do to come out there and be competitive and maybe come up with the upset tonight?
Well, and that's exactly what our goal is. When you face a team as good as them, I believe overall, just as a team, they're probably the best team in our district, just from a team standpoint of just depth and the different things everywhere that they have. What we talk about is it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to knock off a team that was a 6A powerhouse last year, and it looks like they're going to be the same this year. A chance to surprise someone like that, but they run a 4-3 defense real similar to Stony Point. So the plan against them is similar, but a little bit different because they have different strengths in their 4-3 than Stony Point does. Defensively, they present some challenges because they can throw the ball down the field and they can run the ball really well. And so defensively, it'll be important that we execute our coverages when they decide to throw the ball down the field, and then we're going to have to get 11 hats to the ball when they try to run the ball also tonight. But they seem to be solid across the board. In all the video that I've watched with Cedar Ridge team, good football team, but we're excited about the challenge and the opportunity to beat a team like this. So
yeah, and it's a big game. It starts a big three game streak here for playing against the top teams in 13-6A as the season winds down. Well, you have them at home. It'll be the first time you've played Cedar Ridge, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so, we're looking for a great game. Any shout-outs for tonight, Coach? JB, you and I haven't talked about this much, but I'm really proud of our freshmen and our JV. Those guys have done so well, and those guys did well last night, and having some really good season with those younger kids, and proud of their attitudes and the way they work. Want to do a shout out to our booster club for, I know we're kind of backtracking, but all of the homecoming festivities and the different things that they did and their support through the last several weeks, and looking forward to tonight, and our fans want to thank all of them for continuing to support us and encouraging our varsity guys to keep fighting. And so those would be the shout outs that I have. Yeah.
Also JB, tonight is a big deal for our middle school programs. I'm proud of them. I mean, we're talking about younger kids here, but it's middle school night, so we'll be honoring the Hawks and the Spartans tonight, and then it's also our breast cancer awareness night. We'll be collecting as much money as we can to help fight that cause, and we've got a lot of players that are dedicating this game to people that mean a lot to them, that have either survived or lost the battle with breast cancer.
And Coach, that's always great admiration for your program, because they do a lot of stuff off the field. They're great mentors and teachers to the young kids that they go out and help out in the middle schools. And yes, breast cancer, everybody's been affected by that horrible disease. So we're all on board with that, Coach. So Coach, thank you so much for everything you do, and we're looking forward to a good game tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that was Coach Rodney Vincent of the Vista Ridge Rangers as they face the Cedar Ridge Raiders here tonight, live from Guthrum Stadium. Johnny Baeza will be with KMAX Sports Vype Media. We'll be right back.
Sound off. Tell us what you think right here on Twitter at KMAX Sports.
KMAX Sports is the largest online broadcast company in Central Texas. How large is that? Well, think of the state capitol if it was full of sports. I mean, the rotunda is more than large enough for basketball or volleyball, and let's face it, anything we do in there is going to be better than what's going on right now. Plus, those guys only work every 2 years. We bring your teams to you every doggone day. Bringing your teams to you since 2003. We are KMAX Sports.
Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes is from right here in Austin. As you know, Austin has several fine burger establishments. That's why we're especially proud that Zagat has rated Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes the #1 burger in Austin. So is it Zagat or Zagat's? Like I said, there are several good burger places here in Austin. But as you know, there's good and then there's Mighty Fine. Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes.
Vype Media is the state's most comprehensive high school sports media outlet, covering UIL, private schools. Vype has been in Texas for over a decade. Visit their website at Vype, VYPE, Texas.com. And also pick up your Vype magazine today. Get in the game with Vype Media.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.
We get ready for kickoff. We're about just under 6 minutes before kickoff here on this Friday night. And Nick, looking across the district, and again, Vandergrift is undefeated. And we just got shot there by a crowd mic. And they're heading to their open week next week where they lead Westwood 14-0 as you can see the lights over there at Kelly Reeves Athletic Center. And it's a 14-0 score at halftime. They're playing Westwood. Westwood, of course, coming up a bye week. They had an extra week to prepare for Vandergrift. That score surprise you?
It does, absolutely. I mean, given what we've seen Vandergrift is capable of doing offensively, I'm not surprised by the 0 put up by Westwood because Vandergrift hangs their hat on defense. And even though Westwood is a very high-powered offense, we've seen them put up chunks of yards, not only against our own Vista Ridge Rangers, but essentially every team in the district that they played. So, but Vandergrift is a different animal defensively.
And Leander goes to 0-6 on the year in district play, 1-7 overall as they lose to McNeil last night, Thursday night at Dragon Stadium as the game was moved from K-Rack or the Kelly Reeves Athletic Center over to Dragon Stadium. It was a 55-20 score there. So McNeil still in the playoff hunt. They're 4-3 overall, 3-2 in district play with 4 games left, but they've got Stony Point, Cedar Ridge, and Hendrickson left on their schedule. So that's a tough stretch for McNeil, but they control their own destiny.
They do, but like you said, I mean, you're getting into the absolute bulk of the schedule as far as district play is concerned if you're the McNeil team. So looking at what they've got left, I mean, they're going to have to find a way to beat one of those schools. But to your point, still very much in the hunt, which is why games like tonight mean quite a bit, because if Vista Ridge can find a way to knock off these Raiders, it puts them, a step behind and catapults everybody else that's right in the mix for the number 2, number 3 spots in the district.
And Coach Robinson, no doubt, treating this game pretty serious because it could be a trap game for them as they face Round Rock next week. But Round Rock is at home tonight against Stony Point. Stony Point is 2-2 in district play, and Round Rock is 3-1. So that's a huge game for Round Rock to stay with Cedar Ridge and 1 game behind Vandergrift, at Stony Point trying to keep up with McNeil as 2, 3, and 4 still up for grabs in 13-6A.
And we're not surprised by any of this, to be honest. I mean, you and I talked about it before the season that, we didn't know if there would be a single team that had a clear advantage or clear distinction as the number 1 team in the district, even at this point in the season. We kind of expected this all to kind of come down to the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season, and here we are. I mean, Vandergrift obviously the key right now in terms of the controlling their own destiny, obviously sitting number 1 in the district, but everyone else is vying for that number 2, number 3, and even number 4 spot to get into the playoffs.
As right now the players are meeting at the middle of the field for the coin toss for the visiting Cedar Ridge Raiders. It's Jalen Ellis, Justin Santelena, and number 61. I don't see a 61 here on our roster. Is that 61? It's 51, excuse me. That is Trey Womble. And then number 7, Ethan Marone. Looks like he's not going to be playing tonight. For Vista Ridge, you got Kellen Janda, number 9 out there for you. For him is Drew Cantu, Jordan Webster, and Greer Gerasi. As we're waiting for the coin toss, and you know, Vista Ridge is 1-4 in district play, 1-6 overall. As they have Round Rock and Hendrickson left in the bye week, and we'll see who wins the toss here. So Vista Ridge wins it, and they opt to receive. And Cedar Ridge will be defending the goal to our left. They'll be going left to right, north to south in their white jerseys. Purple numbers, they're purple and white. Vista Ridge in their black jerseys, black helmets. Those black helmets look sharp.
Yeah, I really like the new uniforms. Obviously, Coach Vincent and the staff did an incredible job of making some adjustments to the uniforms, obviously trying to appeal to the kids, give them something they can be excited about wearing on Friday nights. And what they've come up with, both the home uniforms and the road uniforms, are sharp.
As Coach mentioned it's middle school night. The Hawks making their way up to the stands. And we're going to take it down to the field to the public address announcer as we get ready for the national anthem and the presentation of the colors.
The Texas flag bearer is Cadet Seaman Apprentice Matthew Carpenter. The American flag guard is Cadet Seaman Apprentice Dylan Evans. And the Texas flag guard is Cadet Seaman Apprentice Robert Ray.
Couldn't tell if that was a live. The choir was singing that one, but that was a great rendition of the national anthem as we're ready for some Friday night lights. Friday night football here from Gupton Stadium. I am Johnny Baez, Nicholas Peters, Jace Andrews, and Randy Fry. The Rockin' Rev here with us tonight. Vista Ridge, a big opportunity to make a difference in the district standings. And Hendrickson, we failed to mention Hendrickson is off this week. They're 3-2, losing to Vandergrift, and last week losing to Cedar Ridge. So big games for both teams on both sides of the football here tonight.
The weather report for this evening is about 75 and dry. That's here in the booth. Out there in the stand, it's about 61 and drizzling, and will continue to.
And it was raining when we first, during the pregame, during the warm-ups. It was coming down quite a bit as the rain has kind of there's kind of little light rain, a little drizzle as you heard the public address announcer. We'll see which team the rain affects more, Vista Ridge or Cedar Ridge.
Well, I think with the Vista Ridge running game, I mean, a little bit of rain, a little bit of drizzle, this isn't going to hurt you too bad. The only issue is the sleight of hand that Vista Ridge likes to run with the zone read plays as well as the option. This ball is going to get slick, and it's going to get slick quick. So, hopefully these guys are going to be a little more sure-handed this evening as opposed to last week, be able to control the football. And if they can get something going on offense, if they can grind this game out, the rainy conditions certainly benefit the Vista Ridge Rangers and what they want to do in terms of just, making hay with the ground game. And
mostly during the first part of the season, it was a deferred. If they won the toss, they would opt to get the football back in the third quarter. The last couple of times, they have opted to get the football on offense first, and it paid off against Leander as they jumped to a quick 7-0 lead. And we'll see what happens here as Chase Camp will get things going here tonight as Eamon Allen back deep along with Nathan Schlepko. And it's going to be Allen at about the 5-yard line. He's at the 20, 25, and just gets tripped up and falls across the 25-yard line. They're going to mark it at the 26, 1st and 10, Vista Ridge.
And he had a lane there, JB. He was blitzing right through it. And, like you said, just a shoestring tackle. And unfortunately couldn't keep his feet. Does dive forward to gain some extra yards. But if he's able to keep his feet there, he might still be running.
So Drew Cantu will lead the troops onto the field. And it's going to be on offense, Anthony Thomas in the backfield. They got Podolak in motion, and they're going to give it to Thomas, but they weren't able to get the handoff, and now the bounce, the football is loose, picked up by Cedar Ridge, and it's a touchdown. Cantu missed as Thomas fell, and Cantu tried to pitch it, and Ryan Canfield, the linebacker, picks it up and takes it into the end zone. About a 20-yard fumble return, and Cedar Ridge leads it 6-0. And Camp for the extra point. So 13 seconds into the game, on the first play from scrimmage, Cedar Ridge takes a 7-0 lead on a fumble return for a touchdown, and that was just a poor decision by Cantu. No way. I mean, that I don't know how to put it more.
I don't know how to say anything. That's why I was silent there for a second. I was trying to digest that for a minute. There's a lot of changes on offense, and I understand that he's not used to having Thomas back there in the backfield. But it looked as though it was a designed fake handoff. Thomas fell forward. Is supposed to pick up that linebacker as he's blitzing through the middle of the line. Cantu tries to pitch it, but he's got 2 men on him. There's, at that point, you just got to swallow the ball and, live to play another down. Unfortunately, it gets knocked out of his hands, falls right into the hands of a Cedar Ridge defensive player, and there's no one in front of him but nothing in front of him but green grass.
And he got a great bounce too, but right there on that play, you saw the penetration from the defensive line of Cedar Ridge, and that's the challenge of the Vista Ridge offensive line here tonight, is to try to at least, get some push off that line of scrimmage. But right there, Cedar Ridge just all over that and causing the turnover. And here we go, Camp. 13 seconds ago, he was lined up in the same spot, starting the game, and now he's going to kick it off. Allen and Schlepko back deep, and it's going to be Allen again, this time at about the 7-yard line. He's at the 20, he's at the 25, and this time gets it out to about the 30-yard line. That's where I'm going to mark him down, and it's Vista Ridge again, 1st and 10 at their own 30-yard line.
And here we go. You and I were kind of curious as to whether they continue to swap quarterbacks after each series. And Drew Cantu only gets one play, turns the ball over, and here we see trotting out there at quarterback now is Kyle Brown.
And it's Kyle Brown going to be the quarterback, and it's going to, in front of Kyle Brown, to be Avery Allen, the left tackle, left guard Daryl Turner, the center James Parson, the right guard Greer Gerasi, and the right tackle Jake Hoffman. Messner in at tight end. On 1st and 10 from their own 30-yard line. In motion is Podolak. High snap. Great job by Brown. He's going to hand it off to Haynes. Haynes finds an opener over the right side. Pretty good gain on 1st down. Considering that, the timing of the play with a bad snap. And he picks up 3 yards. 2nd and 7.
Yeah, the entire Cedar Ridge defense was flowing with the offensive line, who was moving to the right side. Haynes does a great job there too. Just, it's a timing play, so you got to get that handoff done right at the point of attack. Haynes didn't grab it necessarily right at the time he was supposed to, and the delay actually helped him out, opening a hole and gaining a few yards.
And he's got Fogg here to the left side. Messner in motion. He's going to take the handoff, and he's going to look in to throw. Great protection up the middle, a bit behind Fogg. Off the hands of Fogg and almost into the hands of the defensive back, Gavin Dunn. Pass is incomplete. 3rd and 7.
Good protection there by the Vista Ridge offensive line. Cedar Ridge only rushing 4. Brown finding the only really open man and putting it in a place where only his guy could get it. Finding a soft spot in the zone, just couldn't get it to him in stride. It thrown a little bit behind him. Fogg couldn't come down with it.
Jones and Podolak here to the near side. Haynes in the backfield. Dillard, Williams, Chavies, and Stevenson up front, along with Funderburg for the Cedar Ridge Raiders. On 3rd down, that's a high snap over the head of Brown, and Brown wisely just falls on it. And it's all the way back to the 20-yard line, a loss of 13. And it's going to bring up 4th down. And that's the dominant defensive line causing that. And Parsons starting at center so far, having, off to a rough start.
Yeah, maybe some butterflies for James, and getting his first start at the center position, moving Guerrero Gerasi over. So, neither of these quarterbacks are used to the center either.
Hughes back to punt. It's a high punt. It's a short punt. Fair catch signal by Cedar Ridge, and it's made there by Mark Anthony Walker, the wide receiver, and it's 1st and 10, Cedar Ridge at the Vista Ridge 49-yard line. I'm going to be getting my ridges confused.
And here we see some changes even on defense, JB, is a different look at on the defensive line, as you got, the stalwart there and Luke Horn at the quick end position, but moving Dowdell out to the outside as the strong end, and then moving O'Lee into the middle as the nose tackle.
So the quarterback, Jalen Brown, is going to hand it off to Deuce Vaughn. Vaughn, the sophomore last year, contributed to the team, and he gets a great gain as he gets to the edge and cuts it upfield. Great blocking by the receivers for Cedar Ridge all the way down to, I'm going to mark him at the 26-yard line, a 23-yard gain by Deuce Vaughn. First and 10. Ellis here to the near side. Twins to the left. Vaughn in the backfield, and he's going to get the carry again. Goes up the middle and breaks a tackle at the 20. Gets to the outside, cuts it back inside at the 10, and tripped up. But the turf monster got him right there as he falls forward. And they're going to mark him at the 11-yard line. 15-yard pickup. First and 10. Vista Ridge comes in defensively, giving up almost 9 yards per play. And now Vaughn up the middle looking for the end zone. He's hit at the 5-yard line and dropped there for a 6-yard pickup. 2nd and 4.
And now we're seeing Vista Ridge crowd the line. Vista Ridge comes in with a traditional 3-4 defense, playing with a rover safety, and they're walking up these linebackers actually to the line of scrimmage to almost give them a 4-man or even a 5-man look, especially down here in the red zone.
We've got Dwayne Brown, Trey Womble, the left side of the offensive line, Seth Hendricks in the center, Avery Baker, the right guard, and Marcus Bryant, the right tackle. And now they're going to hand it off to the big guy, number 23, that's Jacorian Isaac, the running back, the junior, and he takes it from 5 yards in. It's touchdown Cedar Ridge, and it's 13-0 with 9:05 left here in the first quarter.
I'd love to say that was a jumbo package, but there was no fullback. It's a one-man jumbo package, as Isaac is a very big receiver and a daunting threat coming right down the middle. But they just line it up and run it right at you so far in this game. Not a single pass on that drive.
Extra point is good. And with 9:05 left, it is 14-0 Cedar Ridge as we continue play here in the first quarter. So we check on that Vandergrift score. It's 14-0 at the start of the fourth quarter. It is 14-12 with 5:50 to go in the fourth quarter over at the Kelly Reeves Athletic Center.
And it looks like you were mentioning before the game that the reason they started so early was because the light box was down. They only operating with essentially one light at the Kelly Reeves Athletic Center. It looks like they might have a couple more on now, as we can see that.
It looks like it's they're working pretty well. At least the game's going, and maybe that's Westwood's advantage if it's a little dark down there, right? 14-12, and again, we'd like to thank Scott Elder Mitsubishi Motors for sponsoring the Vista Ridge Rangers broadcast right here on the KMAX Sports Vype Media Network. Also, Foxhole Culinary Tavern, Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes, Randall Jones and Associates, Slotsky's, Serrano's Cocina y Cantina, Summer Moon Coffee, Vista Ridge Family Dentistry, and Zaxby's, the official chicken of your Vista Ridge Rangers. And now Camp. It's going to be a short kickoff. Janda at the 20-yard line. He's at the 25, at the 30. Makes a move, and it's hit right there, and he falls past the 30-yard line. Going to mark him at the 32. So Vista Ridge with their third chance here in the first quarter. Just over 9 minutes to go. They have it first down at their own 32-yard line. It's Cantu with Fogg, Thomas, Messner, Podolek, and Jones as the skill players. And the change at center is Parsons at center. Gerasi is at right guard. Cantu in the shotgun. High snap, and this time he controls it and he hands it off. But Dillard Williams right there to make the stop from Thomas for a 1-yard loss. Now Haynes in the backfield for Vista Ridge. As Cantu has it second down and 11. Negative yardage so far here for the Vista Ridge Rangers offensively as Podolak in motion to the right side. High snap, Cantu with a one-handed grab over to Haynes over trying to go to the right side. Nothing doing. Drop down for another loss. This time it's number 40, Brett Hartgrove, the linebacker, bringing Haynes down back at the 28-yard line. A loss of 3. Bring up 3rd and 14.
Hartgrove, the big sophomore, he and his fellow linebackers are actually walking up to the line. They're putting 8 or 9 in the box on every single play so far. This being an obvious passing down, they're probably going to back him up here. But Cedar Ridge goes with a traditional 4-3, but they're constantly bringing pressure from one of those linebacker positions, and it's not always easy to pick up. Somewhat different from a high school football team, as they like to disguise pressure and disguise blitzes almost on every play.
And Cantu sends triplets here to the near side. And he's going to fake the handoff to Haynes. Pressure up the middle, and he's going to be, almost got out of it, but he's going to be sacked. As you saw the push of the defensive line, and they all met at the quarterback. Chavis was in there, number 44, also the linebacker. Excuse me, that was Marley Stevenson. So the defensive line, and it's all the way back to the 21-yard line, a 7-yard loss. And it's going to bring up 4th down. And Hughes is into punt. As Walker is back deep, along with number 1, Marquise Taylor. That's a punt. It's going to be Taylor fielding it at the 48-yard line. Didn't call for a fair catch. Excuse me. And he picks up 3 yards there to the 46-yard line. Almost got through the first wave of defenders there, but nice tackle there by Vista Ridge, and it's going to be 1st and 10 Cedar Ridge.
It's going to
be a short field.
It'd be a different conversation with the coach, I think, when he goes to the sideline. That's a pretty dangerous play to go ahead and try to make a move there with 3 Vista Ridge jerseys right around him as he made the catch. But as you said, he almost scored it away, and if he had, there was plenty of space for him to pick up a significant gain.
And Brown sends 2 receivers here to the near side. Vaughn in the backfield. Ellis split wide right. This Jalen Brown is going to fake the handoff to Vaughn, and now he's going to go deep, and he's got Ellis. He beats Allen, and touchdown. Catches that at 2, runs it in, and Iman Allen just could not stay with the speed of Jalen Ellis, and it's a 46-yard touchdown strike. And Cedar Ridge rolling 20-0 with 6:41 to go.
Well, as impressive as Jalen Ellis is, running that post route, and as you said, he is blinding speed, blinding fast. But a beautiful throw there, too, by Jalen Brown. There's just not much you can do about that. Brown picks up that there's man coverage, no safety help over the top as that person was swinging to the right side, and just decides to take a shot, throws it deep. And when you got the speed like Ellis, you can just throw it out there and just hope he runs underneath it.
And there's a flag on the extra point. And they didn't say whether the extra point was good or not. I think it is. It's Cedar Ridge is running off the field. So it's 21-0. With 6:41 left to go here in the first quarter, excuse me. Just wishing my life away, aren't I? Another big game over in Hutto, in Hippo Country. Cedar Park and Hutto tied at 7 with 9:24 left in the first quarter. It's Vandergrift now with 2:41 left in the fourth quarter, 21-12 over Westwood. And here it's 21-0 with 6:41 to go in the first quarter. It's a 20-yard fumble return by Canfield, 7-0. That one was just 13 seconds into the game. And then Isaac with a 5-yard run, and now Brown to Ellis from 46 yards out for the touchdown, and it's 21-0. And Vista Ridge just cannot get rolling offensively. As 3 series, 1 turnover, and I think one was minus 10 yards on the, and that one was also like minus 10 yards. And Camp, short kick, and it's going to bounce, and it's going to be taken there by Slapko. Slapko up the 20-yard line, and a flag down and a fumble, but it's going to be recovered, and they're still fighting for the football. There's a flag down. It's going to be Vista Ridge football. Great hustle there to recover the fumble. That is number 21 coming up with a football. That is Kellen Janda. And we'll see what this flag is. They got out to the 24-yard line. They're going to mark it off from the 21. Holding against Vista Ridge. So now Vista Ridge has it 1st and 10 from their own 11-yard line. Brown in at quarterback now for the Rangers. He's got twins to each side. Thomas in the backfield. And another high snap. Thomas up the middle, and Thomas just taking whatever the defense gave him there. Gets a good carry out there, first down for 5 yards. Dillard Williams, also Hartgrove on the tackle. 2nd and 5.
And Thomas there almost getting through all the way into the second line of defense, and if he breaks that through the initial offensive line, he's able to pick up 8 or 9 yards on that play. But this defensive line, very intelligent as we've seen so far. You know, they will bend back and try to make a play on a running back, as opposed to just continuing to drive forward to get back into the backfield.
So Brown hand it off again to Thomas over the left side. No, he keeps it. He's going to be tackled and fumble, and Cedar Ridge football. Dillard Williams with the tackle and the fumble recovery, and Brown slow getting up. Not sure who recovered the fumble, but it's Cedar Ridge football at the 13-yard line.
And it's a design roll to the right, JB, as Brown, again with a high snap, but he rolls to the right looking for an open man on a hitch route or on a comeback, and the defensive lineman was just back there in a flash. I mean, there was nothing really Brown could do. That I wouldn't call that a coverage sack. The lineman was just all over him as soon as he, turned to complete his rollout, and just barreled through him in the back. Ball pops out, and Johnny on the spot again is Cedar Ridge with a recovery.
Brown with Vaughn in the backfield. It's going to be fake to Vaughn. They're going to throw it out here to Ellis. Ellis picks it up off the turf. Still on his feet. He's running backwards, and he's going to finally be run out of bounds at the 19-yard line. A huge loss that time. All the way back to the 19, loss of 6. So 2nd down and 16 from the 19-yard line. And this time it's going to be Vaughn over the left side looking for some running room. Oh, great job. Darian Carter grabs him from behind as Vaughn was trying to decide to take it outside or cut it back inside, and Carter brings him down for another loss back to the 23-yard line. Excellent defensive play by number 16.
And chasing him all the way down from the other side of the field. Carter's lined up on the quick side, on the strong side of the field that time, just chasing him all the way down from behind, showing off his speed. And he's a guy that we've been impressed with all season long, Darian Carter.
And he just continues to work hard each and every week. And that was a great defensive play, showing off his speed right there. 3rd down and long, and now Brown rolling to his right, looking. He's got a receiver out here in the flat. It's caught, and it's out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. That is Mark Anthony Walker. And he picks up. They're going to mark him at the 12, so it's an 11-yard gain, and looks like it's field goal times.
And that seemed to be just a design play to get you back into field goal range. They weren't going to try to be greedy there and go for a touchdown or try to pick up a first down with Vista Ridge playing almost like an umbrella coverage with the safeties. So they pick it up or get enough to get their field goal kicker in his position.
And the whistle here is a lot of movement up front. It's going to be a field goal attempt of 29 yards. And false start, make it 34-yard field goal now. As they back it up 5.
It looks like they're going to send the offense back out onto the field, JB.
Well, now it's at the 17-yard line, and yeah, the offense is coming back out on the field. So now, with more room to work with, I guess those 5 yards make a big difference.
Maybe a little bit too long for the kicker.
And now Brown, a chance for the Vista Ridge Rangers to make a big stand here defensively as he's got Vaughn to the left side of him. Brown now looking, he's over here looking to the right, looking, being pressured, throws in the end zone, dropped. Boy, Ellis was waiting here at the 10-yard line, and it's when Brown rolled out to his right, he just sprinted to the middle of the field, and Brown misses him, and it's a turnover on down, so a big hold by the Vista Ridge defense with 4:54 left here in the first quarter.
No, a huge hold by the Vista Ridge defense. They've got to feel great about that, bouncing back, and after the turnover, able to get a stop, and 2 plays in a row, sending Cedar Ridge going backwards, forcing the long 4th down. But on that play, Ellis, he was screaming for the ball as he cut across the middle, finding the soft spot in the zone. But the ball was there a little bit behind him, but that's certainly catchable, especially for someone of his talent.
So Cantu now will be the quarterback for the Vista Ridge Rangers. 4:54 left first quarter. They have 1st and 10 at the 17-yard line. And Cantu rolling out here to his left. He's got some running room at the 20 to the 25. He's got some back inside at the 30. Still on his feet. And that is the first down and the longest play so far for Vista Ridge. As Cantu gets it all the way to the 36-yard line. A 19-yard pickup. Nice run.
Well, there you go. That's one of the things that Drew Cantu brings to the table for you is the mobility at the quarterback position. We've seen that a lot this season where the opposing defense, they know they don't have to spy Kyle Brown as much as he's typically not going to take off, but you're forced to put a spy on Drew Cantu because if he sees a lane, he will take it.
And that down, the defense have committed down the line, and Cantu nicely pulls it out and takes it upfield, and now it's going to be Haynes up the middle. Or is that Thomas? That is Thomas. Picks up about 4 yards to the 40-yard line. 2nd and 6.
And right now, Vista Ridge, we've seen them go quickly. We've seen them run tempo. So far tonight, they're taking their time, trying to keep their defense off the field. They've been on the field quite a bit so far in this first quarter. So hopefully, trying to create a sustained long drive to not only bleed the clock, but give their defense a rest.
So 2nd and 6 from the 40-yard line. Cantu is going to hand it off to Thomas. Thomas over the left side, spins, still on his feet. Almost broke it and gets it past the first down marker. It's going to be 1st and 10 Vista Ridge. After the 9-yard pickup, all the way to the 49-yard line. That's a nice run by Thomas.
Just a tough run by Thomas, busting through one tackle. Another defensive player for Cedar Ridge just had it wrapped around the ankle. Couldn't get away from him. Otherwise, if he's able to step through that somehow, that's easily a 25 to 30-yard run as he was going to get into the second level, and all he had in front of him were defensive backs.
So 1st and 10 from the Vista Ridge 49-yard line, a 9-yard pickup. Vista Ridge, a nice drive here. And the fake that Thomas has it. Kind of a delayed as penetration there by Chavis for Cedar Ridge. Picks up 2 yards. They're in Cedar Ridge territory. It's going to be 2nd and 8 from the Cedar Ridge 49-yard line. Round Rock leads Stony Point 6-0 in the first quarter. Final, Vandergrift 21, Westwood 12. Westwood gave them a run for their money there.
They did.
So Vandergrift now 6-0 in district play. And it's Cantu over to the left. Quick throw to Jones, but behind Jones. Oh, Jones was open. He would have at least had the first down if the pass was there, but behind Jones, it's going to bring up 3rd and 8 after the incompletion.
I'm not sure if Cantu had a firm grip on the ball. There was a bit of pressure, and he tried to get it out quickly, but it looks as though he may not have gotten his hand all the way around the football there, as it came out kind of wobbly on its way to Jones.
Yeah, you can see what Coach Vincent now in the offense, the offensive coordinator Todd Brown, trying to do is trying to get those quick hitters and trying to stop that defensive line penetration. And now flare to Thomas. Thomas catches it, and tackle made by Gavin Dunn. Takes it up to about the 46-yard line. And it's going to bring up 4th and 5 after the 3-yard pickup on that pass.
Sending the punt team out there now, JB. I think this is a good move by Coach Vincent. I know you're down by 21 points, but after the defensive stand that you just experienced, why not try to pin them back deep? See if you can't get it inside their 15 or maybe even inside their 10. Make them drive the length of the field.
So Hughes, they have nobody back, and that's a high snap. And now Dillard Williams is pressuring, and Hughes is going to have to just fall on it, and Dillard Williams tackles Hughes, and it's going to be 1st and 10 Cedar Ridge. So much for flipping the field, as now Cedar Ridge has it. 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line.
Yeah,
38-yard line.
Another high snap, and the ball being as slick as it is, Hughes just couldn't firmly bring it in as he brought it down, but it falls to the turf. He tries to pick it up, falls out of his hands again, and then Dillard Williams is there just to basically push him over. Not a huge tackle, not an attempt to recover.
That's minus 21 yards rushing right there for Vista Ridge, right? 38-yard line with 1:44 left. Cedar Ridge, again the short field. And it's going to be a handoff to Vaughn. It's going to be I think the back coming in motion kind of took off early, and it's going to be false start, 5 yards back. It's going to be 1st and 15 from the 43. I believe that was C.J. Ramirez, and now they're going to hand it to Vaughn up the middle. Vaughn just working his way through the line, and he's going to pick up great yardage here on 1st down. Gets it inside the 35 to the 34-yard line, a gain of 9, 2nd and 6.
And Bryce Christian coming from the other side of the linebacking crew again tonight. We're seeing a lot of peel backs by this Vista Ridge linebacking crew. Bryce Christian getting the start tonight ahead of Oliver Marks. A nice tackle there to bring him down before he escaped, and if he'd gotten through that tackle, there was no one in front of him.
Twins to the left side here for Brown. In motion is Walker, and they're going to hand it off to Vaughn here to the right side. Cuts it inside, makes a little skip move, and just moving the pile inside the 25, and he's going to be dropped at the 22-yard line. A 12-yard pickup. 1st down, Cedar Ridge.
And that time it was Jake Robertson jumping on his back, and he just took him for a ride for an additional 5 or 6 yards after the initial hit.
Ellis will come here to the near side. Vaughn in the backfield with Ramirez. On 1st and 10 from the Vista Ridge 22-yard line, it's going to be Deuce Vaughn up the middle, open at the 15 to the 10, cuts it back to the left side. Touchdown. Untouched into the end zone goes Deuce Vaughn. And Cedar Ridge now has a 28-0 lead, and we're still in the first quarter.
And he almost had 2 Vista Ridge defensive backs slamming into each other as he put a move on 2 of them to cut it back to the left side. He has got some wiggle to him. He's not a big guy.
He is great on the open field. He can cut at full speed, and he's got some speed. And last year as a sophomore contributed a lot to the Cedar Ridge's historic season. And now he has a touchdown here tonight. And it is a 28. No, it's no good. But a flag down. Offsides Vista Ridge, so. Oh, it's good. So it's 28-0.
I think
they signaled that they were waiting for to see what the penalty, they were going to accept the penalty or not. But it's
right. I think the refs were waving their arms towards the coach to say, "Hey, you want to decline this? Just take the point."
So number 22 from 22 yards out puts Cedar Ridge up by 4 touchdowns with 35 seconds left in the first quarter. And gives us a chance to give shout-outs to some of our listeners and part of that Gerasi legacy. Casey and Dag Tibbs out in Phoenix, Arizona. Thank you so much for listening to the broadcast. As Greer Gerasi again, the third brother, right, coming through Vista Ridge, team captain, contributing. He's just a great guy on and off the field. It's all the keeping that Gerasi legacy going here at Vista Ridge. And Christy Gerasi, the mom, pretty proud mom there. So shout out to the Gerasi family, Tibbs family, and thank you so much for listening. As the kickoff, it's going to be Slepko at about the 8-yard line. Gets it at the 20 to the 25, and that should be a horse collar, but no flag. As Slepko is dropped at about the 26-yard line.
Yeah, he's ripped down from behind there. I'm kind of surprised not to see a flag, as I know that these the referees, especially here in Central Texas, have been having a much more distinct focus on player safety. We've seen a lot of flags for personal fouls. We've seen some targeting so far this season. So you'd expect being pulled down from behind like that immediately we'd see a yellow.
Yeah, the hands to the face call has been pretty popular this year for something I hadn't seen a lot of previously. But here we go, 28 seconds left. Vista Ridge, they had some good things going in the last series. Let's see what they can do now as Webster goes in motion to the right side. Cantu is going to hand it off to Thomas. Thomas trying to the right side, but runs into a wall there on the right side, and tackle made by 43 coming off that pile, Tyler Swanberg, as Thomas picks up about 3 yards to the 29-yard line.
And they're gonna let this go the quarter, JB. But it's actually Kyle Brown back out there again. It's good to see that he wasn't too shaken up after that last hit where we saw him sort of hobble off the field.
So we're going to take a break here at the end of the first quarter. It's a 28-0 game. It's the Elder Mitsubishi Motors broadcast of Rangers football right here on the KMAX Sports Vype Media Network.
UIL Private Schools. Vype has been in Texas for over a decade. Visit their website at Vype, VYPETexas.com. And also pick up your Vype magazine today. Get in the game with Vype Media.
Sound off. Tell us what you think right here on Twitter at KMAX Sports.
Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes is from right here in Austin. As you know, Austin has several fine burger establishments. That's why we're especially proud that Zagat has rated Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes the #1 burger in Austin. So is it Zagat or Zagat's? Like I said, there are several good burger places here in Austin. But as you know, there's good and then there's Mighty Fine. Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.
And back at Gupton Stadium on middle school night, Cancer Awareness Night here at Gupton. My name is Johnny Baez, Jace Andrews, Nicholas Peters, and Randy Fry. Start of the second quarter, Vista Ridge has it 2nd and 8, and a bad snap goes through the fans of Kyle Brown, and Brown again is just going to have to fall on it. As Parsons, I believe he's still the center, just having a hard time as he's got that big nose tackle lined up right in front of him in Marley Stevenson. You also might see Austin Tuatagaloa in there. And it's going to be a loss all the way to the 14-yard line. A loss of 15 yards.
That's tough.
Third down.
It's tough to put on a new center that the snap on the timing plays. You know, they're basically timing with the on the speed sweep there with the receiver.
And a whistle. And delay a game. So 5 yards is Vista Ridge. Now we'll have it third down. And I need to take out my calculator here. 27?
You would be correct.
So third down and 27. Brown. The shed of his own end zone, and now he's going to hand it over to Thomas up the middle. Bounces, tries to get to the outside, but he's going to be dropped for no gain. Had a good idea there, but the speed of the Cedar Ridge defense. And it's going to bring up fourth down and 27, and it's going to be forced to punt.
Yeah, the speed and the penetration is there's just not much going up the middle. A couple of good plays, a couple of good running plays by Vista Ridge so far. One by Thomas that went right up the gut, but beyond that, there's just really not been much there. This Cedar Ridge defensive line really crashing the middle and forcing Vista Ridge to try to play the outside.
So 2 men back here for the Cedar Ridge. That's time a good snap, and Hughes gets it out of there and gets a nice punt. And it's going to go all the way to the 43-yard line, dropped by Walker, but falls on it. And Cedar Ridge again starts in Vista Ridge territory at the 43-yard line. They have not had a drive so far in the first half to start on their own end of the field.
They have not had to, no. And it's been for a variety of reasons, either turnovers or just some bad plays, just some unfortunate breaks, unfortunate bounces for Vista Ridge.
As now looks like a new quarterback coming in for the Cedar Ridge Raiders. That is Jack Turner. Deuce Vaughn still in the backfield. He's got 2 receivers here to the near side. Ellis split wide right, now in motion to the left side. And it's going to be a fake, and they're going to give it to Vaughn up the middle, and he's going to be brought down at the 38-yard line. You know, the way the quarterback follows through on those, when they hand it off and they throw it to the receiver coming across. Brett Favre used to do that a lot. Second down, and we'll call it a long 5 after the 5-yard pickup by Deuce Vaughn. Mark it at the 38-yard line. And now a fake to Vaughn. And Vaughn picks up the blitzer. A long pass into the end zone. Caught. Touchdown, Jalen Ellis. Again, Eamon Allen unable to keep up with Ellis. And boy, what a block from Vaughn as he caught the blitzer coming in. And that was Alfredo Saenz that was coming on the right side. And Vaughn helping his quarterback there. And the other things that they do very well is blocking. Yeah, protection is 34-0. After the 38-yard touchdown pass from Turner to Jalen Ellis. So number 14 to number 4 for the touchdown, and Camp in for the extra point. Extra point is good. No flags. 35-0. As Ellis has his second touchdown catch of the night with 9:36 left in the first half. It is a 35-0 score.
And it was interesting to see Turner come into the game that early. Even up 28 points. I didn't expect to see the backup quarterback this early in this game. But he goes out there and he throws an absolute dart to Ellis for a 38-yard touchdown, essentially showing that, hey, it doesn't really matter which one of us is behind center when you've got a guy that's as talented as Ellis is and as fast as Ellis is. As long as you've got the arm to throw it out there on a post route, he's going to go get it. And if Vista Ridge continues to play man coverage with no safety help deep, Cedar Ridge is going to take advantage. They're going to exploit that all night.
And catching up on some scores here, Round Rock leads Stony Point 19-0 in the second quarter. Arlington Oak Ridge over the Austin Saints 7-0. Hyde Park trails Regents by 7, 13-6. Hutto over Cedar Park 21-7. As Camp, his leg's going to be sore after the first half here with 35-0. And again, the kickoff is going to be Allen taking it at about the 14-yard line. Tries to gut it up the field to the 25. He's at the 30, still on his feet, coming to the outside, back inside, and finally brought down by Rashad Rines and Jed Kennis. So 1st and 10, Vista Ridge at their own 32-yard line. OBJ over Crockett 7-0. Again, Vandergrift already defeated Westwood 21-12 to remain undefeated on the season and undefeated in district play. They are the district leaders right now. McNeil defeating Leander 55-20 last night. As a man in motion goes to the left side, Cantu on the tip. He's got Ty Mayberry in the game now, and he takes it over to the left side and just runs over a defender. And that's what I like about Ty Mayberry. He's not going to run out of bounds. He's going to finish the run. There's number 31, Michael DeBari, up there to make the stop, but Mayberry gains 4 yards to the 36-yard line.
And as small as Ty Mayberry is, he's never been afraid of contact. We've seen that all season long. He looks like a guy that's just a small, quick guy, but no, he packs a punch when he lowers those shoulder pads.
Football is a contact sport, and now he's going to shake off a tackle in the backfield and make a little move and pick up some positive yardage as Nick Schroeder just whiffed in the backfield and takes it all the way to the 39, 3-yard pickup, 3rd down and 3.
And here we go, finally Vista Ridge faced with a 3rd and manageable for the first time this evening. Hopefully he can pick up a first down here and keep this drive moving.
Third and 3, the yard to make is the 42-yard line. Cantu in at quarterback. 10 seconds on the play clock. Now it's inside 5 seconds. Cantu, slow, kind of a long snap, and slow developing play, and that snap kind of took a long time to get to Cantu. You saw Cantu actually come up a couple of steps to try to get the football, and Mayberry stopped and dropped for a loss of 2 yards on that one. It's going to be 4th down and 5 now.
Yeah, you never want your quarterback to have to step forward to to catch a shotgun snap, and so far tonight. James Parsons again, obviously, stepping in to start at center, just struggling with the snap, struggling with the.
Looks like Gerasi is back at center now.
Okay, there you go.
On 4th down, and Cantu's just going to do the quick kick, and he's going to get a nice Vista Ridge bounce inside the 30-yard line. And I don't know why Adam Fogg just didn't let it bounce more. It could have gone probably inside the 25-yard line, but it's going to be 1st and 10, Cedar Ridge at their own 26-yard line.
So for the first time tonight, having to start a drive on their own side of the field, it feels like. Certainly the worst field position they've had so far this evening.
And it looks like Brown is going to be back at quarterback here on this series for the Raiders. And Isaac is going to be your running back. Now they're going to send Rhines and I believe that's Taylor here to the near side on 1st and 10 from their own 26. Isaac's going to be the ball carrier, and he breaks a tackle in the line of scrimmage. He's loose in the backfield, and the defensive backfield, and he gets it past the 35 to the 38. 12-yard pickup, 1st down Cedar Ridge.
That was Luke Horn breaking into the backfield that almost had him dead to rights, had him wrapped around the waist, but the size of this running back, it is daunting, and he just runs right through that tackle. He's the kind of guy you have to bring 2 or 3 guys to bring him to the ground.
7 minutes to go first half. 35-0 score. Cedar Ridge 1st and 10 at their own 38. Again, a handoff to Isaac. Isaac. Great penetration there by Vista Ridge. That was Alfredo Sainz tripping up Isaac in the backfield, but he stumbles forward for about a 3-yard gain. He's 2nd and 7. Ball is at the 41-yard line. There's Taylor. He's here to the left side. Rhines and Ellis. To the right, Isaac in the backfield. Brown is going to hand it off to the receiver coming across. Taylor in a little sweep, and Taylor finds some running room on the right side and takes it into Vista Ridge territory all the way to the Vista Ridge 45-yard line.
Yeah, that's just a jet sweep there, JB, and just a perfectly executed one, though. When you can get your blockers set up and out and your receivers, send the fake or show the fake and force the defensive backs to vacate the area, that's exactly what happened there, which is why that results in a big gain.
14 yards on that gain. It's 1st and 10 from the Vista Ridge 45. This time it's Isaac over to the left side. He's got a hole in the 40. Just inside the 40-yard line. Tackle made there by Bryce Christian. But it's a big gain on first down of 7 yards. 2nd and 3.
And one interesting thing to watch is the defensive backs for Vista Ridge in that man coverage. Now they're showing press at the line of scrimmage, but right before the ball is snapped, they're vacating and giving up about a 10 to 12-yard cushion.
Give him 6 yards, and again Isaac up the middle, and this time wrapped up. Carter in on the tackle, along with Jake Robertson, but he picks up 3 yards to the 36-yard line. It's going to bring up 3rd and 1. And Cedar Ridge in no hurry now, just trying to get the running game going, up by 5 touchdowns. 35-0 score. Under 5 minutes to go first half. It's going to be Isaac again over the left side. He's got the first down. He's going inside the 30-yard line. Tackle made by Bryce Christian again, and it's going to be 1st and 10 at the 29-yard line, again of 7.
Yeah, so far on this drive, Cedar Ridge is perfectly fine with running the football and running it right between the tackles, essentially saying, hey, if you can't stop it, we're just going to continue to do it until you do. And interesting to see that Vista Ridge, they're even putting 8 in the box and still unable to bring down the running back. That's a big and experienced offensive line. Isaac again over the left side, this time piled up. As a nice job of the Vista Ridge defense just getting some penetration, but it's still a 3-yard pickup. Getting up from the bottom of the pile is Addiston Ollie. So 2nd and 7. As Ollie's lined up at nose guard. Dowdell at the left end. Luke Horn the right end. Christian, Signs, Robertson, and Carter, the linebackers. And now it's going to be a quick throw here to Ellis. Ellis, the receiver screen at the 20, cuts it inside, stays on his feet at the 10, cuts it back inside, touchdown. Untouched, 26 yards, for a touchdown. 3 touchdown catches for Jalen Ellis. He is just an unbelievable talent. And he catches that ball, he gets a key block there on the outside, but two different Vista Ridge players had shots at him, and he just makes one move. Those guys go diving for his ankles, and he's stepping right around them, and then cutting it back inside across 2 additional defensive players to run it into the end zone without anyone ever touching him.
Extra point by Camp. And it is good. So with 3:27 to go here in the first half, Cedar Ridge leads it 42-0. We're going to take a short break. It's the Scott Elder Mitsubishi Motors broadcast of Rangers football on the KMAX Sports Vype Media Network.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.
Vype Media is the state's most comprehensive high school sports media outlet, covering UIL, private schools. Vype has been in Texas for over a decade. Visit their website at Vype, VYPE-Texas.com. And also pick up your Vype magazine today. Get in the game with Vype Media.
In the battle for barbecue supremacy, warriors pit prime meats, secret sauces, and recipes against one another. Yet one champion stands alone. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, in the modern-day vernacular, where bad means good. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue has the worst barbecue in Texas.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.
3:27 to go first half. Camp kicking off again, 42-0 Cedar Ridge. Kickoff is going to come here at the 10-yard line. That is Allen. He's at the 25. He's at the 30. 35, and dropped down right there as he was tried the middle of the field. Tackle made by Jorge Pelaya, a linebacker, and it's going to be 1st and 10. Vista Ridge at their own 36-yard line. Is this their best field position in a start a drive here?
I believe so. I think that the furthest they'd gotten Prior to that was actually at the 29 or the 31, wasn't it? So here
that last drive by Cedar Ridge was an 8-play, 74-yard drive that took 4 minutes off the clock. That's the longest drive they've had so far here in the first half. It's a 42-0 game, and Brown in at quarterback. They got some extra blockers back there, and they're going to fake the handoff, and now Brown looking to throw. He's got a little wheel route, and Podolak is hit as he was coming out of the backfield. Great defensive play there by Jonathan Powell, the defensive back, and pass falls incomplete.
Yeah, Podolak coming out of the backfield does get chipped there. It's a perfectly legal play to chip him on the outside, but Brown was just going to stick with him. If he had looked up and running the post route was number 8, Brendan Knight. And it looked like he might have had a step on the man there on the post route. So if Brown just adjusts his vision, throws it deep down the middle as opposed to the right side, he may have had a big play on his hands.
2nd and 10. Now Brown to the left side. He's going to hand it off to Mayberry. Mayberry trying to get the edge. Cuts it upfield, and he's going to get to the 40-yard line. Maybe beyond it. But referee marks him down at the 44-yard pickup. 2nd and 6.
It's good to see the speed of Ty Mayberry back out on the field for the Rangers. We're not sure exactly why he was held out or didn't start tonight, but here he is in the second quarter making his presence felt.
Third down and 6 from the 40-yard line. Brown again, the snap takes a long time to get there. This time gets a receiver out in the flat on the left side. That's Adam Fogg. And they're going to mark him down at the 49-yard line. And that is a first down for Vista Ridge, and a great third down conversion there by Kyle Brown. In fact, they only give him 8 yards on that. They mark it back at the 48-yard line. So 1st and 10, Vista Ridge. Clock approaching 2 minutes to go here, first half. I am Johnny Baeza, Jace Andrews, Nicholas Peters, Randy Fry, and Margo Baeza. Rangers football on the KMX Sports Vype Media Networks. Now it's a little pitch out here to Mayberry to the right side. Mayberry looking for some running room, and nice job of get away from would-be tacklers in the backfield, making some moves. Gets away from Rashad Rhines, and he takes it into Cedar Ridge territory at the 49-yard line. Pickup of 3 when it could have been a loss of about 5.
It could have been a loss of 5 or even 7, and then at the end of the play there, lowering the shoulder on Brandon Crane, the junior defensive back for Cedar Ridge, who looked like he thought he was coming up to make a thump of a tackle. Instead, he's the one going to ground, and Mayberry just bounces off of him right out of bounds.
Like the Astros, man, he just whiffed.
A little too soon. 2nd
down and 7. And now Brown fakes it. He's going to go deep. He's got a receiver right up the middle. It is caught at the 10 to the 5. Touchdown, Vista Ridge. That is number 8, Brendan Knight. And you mentioned it, Nick. He was open up the middle. That's time a perfect pass by Kyle Brown. Great protection by the offensive line. And when they do that, it works, and it's a touchdown of 49 yards. And Vista Ridge is on the board.
Just an absolutely beautiful ball by Brown there, and been struggling to try to complete passes tonight, struggling with protection, but that time the offensive line does a great job holding up. Greer Gerasi right up the middle, just with a huge block on a blitzing linebacker as he withstood 2 players trying to get into the backfield, and then there it is, Kyle Brown just finding Brendan Knight running wide open down the middle.
So the Brown to Knight connection here late in the first half gives Vista Ridge a 42. Well, puts Vista Ridge on the board. Cedar Ridge, thought I was going to get those ridges confused there. 42-7 here in the first half. And just a reminder, coming up at halftime, we'll be talking to a sponsor for Vista Ridge football.
Yeah, we'll have Summer Moon Coffee in the house.
Summer Moon Coffee in the house. Randy Finley with Summer Moon Coffee will be here to talk to us about wood-fired coffee and moon milk, and it's going to be an interesting conversation as it's a pretty good coffee.
I was only disappointed because he showed up in the booth just to introduce himself before the game, but there was no coffee in his hands. So I was kind of hoping he might pop in here. Given
well, we'll have to ask him about that.
Yeah, given the temperature tonight, and it being a little bit chilly, be nice to have some Summer Moon Coffee. I've only been there once, but it is actually incredible coffee.
Round Rock now 26-0 over Stony Point in the second quarter. Hutto now leads Cedar Park 35-14. Arlington Oak Ridge over Austin St. 7-0. Georgetown over Pflugerville 7-3. Regents over Hyde Park 16-6. Eastview over Glenn 7-0. Glenn, another Leander Independent School, LISD school, having a great first year in the UIL. They're undefeated in district play in 5A Division II. Bowie 7-0 over Aikens. Dripping Springs 21-0 over Laniel, and now it's going to be a little pooch kick. And it's going to come up Ellis at the 22-yard line. He's going to go across the field, trying to get the edge. And now Allen, he's the only man to beat, and Allen is just going to cut him off and force him out of bounds. And Ellis will give Cedar Ridge the football, 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line. Nice job of Allen, just not in pursuit there and forcing and using the sideline next to an extra defender. 60 seconds left here in the first half. Cedar Ridge, 1st and 10. They're going to mark it at the 35-yard line.
Well, they've shown that they have zero issues scoring very quickly. So this is going to be a bend but don't break approach by the Rangers in terms of the defensive strategy.
Turner in at quarterback, and he's going to keep it over to the right side. And Carter misses a tackle, and he's upended, and Allen trips him up as over there blocking on the right side. That was is that DeAndre Steeling, or is that number 19 Colby Schoenrock? It's number 19. He came up to block Allen, but Allen got Turner's leg and flipped him, and it's pickup of 9. And now it goes up, and it's incomplete. Boy, it looks like Vista Ridge got away with the pass interference there.
I was going to say the same thing.
That was number 40, Alfredo Sanz, coming up to break the pass up. It's going to be 3rd down and 1.
We'll make the argument as the Vista Ridge radio station that he got there right as the ball arrived.
That was just an excellent defensive play. Got the left hand in there and knocked it away. 3rd down and 1. And Turner gives it up the middle and fighting for the 1st down. He's going to get it as he picks up 2 yards. Who's that? Isaac? Yeah, that's Isaac, number 23, for a 2-yard gain, and it's going to be 1st and 10. Cedar Ridge at the 46-yard line. 26 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, and it's Luke Horn and Patrick Reed combining on the tackle there. Both of those guys crashing now in the middle, just expecting Cedar Ridge, everything they were doing in the running game, right up the gut.
And now Turner goes to the left side. He's looking deep, and he's got a receiver here and runs out of bounds. That's Walker. Good throw as he came across the field to the receiver, and nice throw there by Turner, and it's 1st and 10 Cedar Ridge.
A great throw under pressure there.
At the 36-yard line.
Again, Darian Carter in the backfield, just showing off that speed as he came on a delayed blitz, got there right after the ball was thrown. So a great throw under that distinct pressure by Carter.
18-yard pickup, and now rolling over to the right is the quarterback. And now Carter comes in and hits him as he lets go of the football. And you want a guy that goes 110% every play. There's number 16. Hustling and bringing Turner down from behind, and the pass falls incomplete.
And with 6 seconds left, I mean, here you go. If you're Vista Ridge, you know that, or you can expect Cedar Ridge is going to try to do something deep and more than likely, catch one of these big, tall, speedy receivers. So I expect this to be more of a prevent approach by the Vista Ridge defense.
And now they're just, it's going to be, they call a timeout. Looks like Cedar Ridge calls a timeout. Cedar Ridge had 2 timeouts left. So the referee, I did not see the referee's signal who called timeout. I believe it was Cedar Ridge.
It looked as though he pointed towards Cedar Ridge. I'm sure they're going to try to set something up here. I mean, if you're Vista Ridge, you generally know where this ball is going. More than likely, this is going to be a throw to Jalen Ellis. And so if you're the Cedar Ridge, or the Vista Ridge defense, you probably want to go out there and try to bracket him as much as you can.
Turner with Isaac in the backfield. He's got triplets, to the right side. And he's going to fake it to Isaac, and now he's just going to throw a pass up the middle. It's going to be up for grabs, and it is going to be intercepted. I believe that is, who's that, number 10? That is Cannon Chromus with the interception. So the Hail Mary, the heave at the final seconds of the first half. Vista Ridge intercepts the football, but we still have 2 quarters to go. It is a 42-7 halftime lead for the Cedar Ridge Raiders. We're going to have an extended break, and we're going to be talking to Randy Finley after the break with Summer Moon Coffee. It's the Elder Mitsubishi Motors broadcast of Rangers football right here on the KMAX Sports Broadcast Network.
KMAX Sports is the largest online broadcast company in Central Texas. How large is that? Well, imagine a downtown condo tower if it was full of sports. But first we'll have to evict the hipsters. Not cool, man. Not cool. But don't worry about them. They won't starve. There's plenty of food trailers left on Rainy Street. Oh, what's that? They ran them all out? Aw, poor hipsters. Bringing your teams to you since 2003. We are KMAX Sports.
In the battle for barbecue supremacy, warriors pit prime meats, secret sauces, and recipes against one another. Yet one champion stands alone. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, in the modern-day vernacular, where bad means good. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue has the worst barbecue in Texas.
Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes is from right here in Austin. As you know, Austin has several fine burger establishments. That's why we're especially proud that Zagat has rated Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes the #1 burger in Austin. So is it Zagat or Zagat's? Like I said, there are several good burger places here in Austin. But as you know, there's good and then there's Mighty Fine. Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes.
Vype Media is the state's most comprehensive high school sports media outlet, covering UIL, private schools. Vype has been in Texas for over a decade. Visit their website at Vype, VYPE-Texas.com. And also pick up your Vype magazine today. Get in the game with Vype Media.
Sound off. Tell us what you think right here on Twitter at KMAX Sports.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.
And welcome back to Gupton Stadium. We're at halftime, and the Vista Ridge Rangers have some catching up to do as they trail 42-7 to the Cedar Ridge Raiders. And joining us here at halftime is Summer Moon's Coffee's Randy Finley. Welcome.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us here at halftime. And well, what's your impression of the first half so far? I know we're on the wrong side of the scoreboard, but
yeah, it's been a tough game so far, and those guys are playing their hearts out, but some early mistakes and some pretty tough big mistakes. They've shown they can move the ball, but so those mistakes, got to cut down on the mistakes.
And you've been a sponsor of Vista Ridge football for a few years now, and as a business owner here, and as part of this school district, I mean, you're in Cedar Park, so there's a lot of high schools around here, and
sure.
So why do you think it's important for local businesses to kind of support the local school athletics?
It takes a lot of people to make this kind of a production happen, right? I mean, it takes a lot of individual supporters, takes a lot of business support, but there's nothing like coming out to a game, getting together with your friends and your family, and just enjoying watching your kids play, watching your neighbor kid play, and just having a good time. So we're happy to do it.
And you just get to meet a lot of nice, being me, doing this for KMAX Sports, we do a lot of other different high schools broadcasts and work with the booster clubs, and you just meet a lot of great people. I mean, you get to know some kids here, and you do it for them.
That's right, exactly.
And we talk about Summer Moon Coffee. I mean, the sponsorship. So you're located in Cedar Park, but you've got different branches all over the place.
We do. We've got several around Austin. The original down on South First Street opened in 2003, so we've been around for quite a while. But we opened one in Avery Ranch, and just been enjoying being out here in this neighborhood.
And Summer Moon Coffee, wood fire. You got all these little combinations. So what makes that so special? What's that so special about that combination?
Yeah. So we think there's an affinity between fire, coffee, and the heat that it generates. you know, the first thing you need to understand is we are not trying to smoke the beans. Like some people make that mistake to think that
They'd fall through the grill, right?
Right, exactly. We're not trying to get a smoke flavor into it. We don't do that. But we just know the type of heat that it produces just makes a very smooth, very delicious coffee.
And what is so wood fired? I mean, what is that? How does that process? Is it a long process? You do it there. You do it there at your stores?
Well, interesting. You know, we do it in Dripping Springs. Yeah, so there's 2 roasters out in Dripping Springs. All of our beans are roasted out there. We find the highest quality beans we can from all around the world, and we bring them into Dripping Springs. We roast them right there in one of 2 wood-fired roasters. It's done by brick, man muscle. There's no push button. There's no stop button. Nobody's sitting there with a laptop. We have 3 artisan roasters that sit and hand roast every single batch.
And is it delivered daily to the stores, or how does it get to the stores?
It's delivered weekly to the stores, and so we coffee needs a little bit of time to sit and what we call degas. So it's once a week is plenty. You wouldn't want it any more often than that, but it is very fresh and probably some of the freshest coffee you can get. Sure.
Yeah, we were just kind of off the air. We're just mentioning about this, and we were talking about this, and you have something here called moon milk.
We have moon milk. Yeah, it is a very popular item with our customers. What it is, it's our blend of 7 secret ingredients that if you take our traditional latte, which is milk and espresso, and you make it with moon milk, which is a sweetened latte milk, then it becomes a summer moon. Right, so we make all the traditional lattes and cappuccinos and that kind of stuff as well. But when we make them with moon milk, they become the summer moon lattes. We tailor them to how sweet you like them. So if you like a sweetened latte, it's very popular.
So if I was just coming off and it'd be my first visit to Summer Moon Coffee, and I walk up there and it was like, I'd tell the person behind the counter, so what do you recommend?
Yeah.
It's my first trip here. What would be the perfect answer for that?
Yeah, well, certainly our half moon latte is the most popular. A full Summer Moon coffee is going to be kind of a dessert coffee. It's pretty sweet. If you've never tried the half moon latte, it is our most popular for a very good reason. It's about the sweetness that most people like in a latte, and so that would definitely be my first recommendation, depending on what you like. We've been getting a lot of good feedback. We've won a couple of awards around Austin. Recently, we've won Best in Coffee from Austin American Statesman Readers Poll and from Austin Monthly, and so we've been very honored by our readers or by our customers and those publication readers.
And it's a perfect night. It's been perfect weather for coffee. So you just heard it, folks. I mean, right here. I mean, head over to Summer Moon Coffee. They'll treat you right there and some great coffee. And since you have all these stores all around Austin and you sponsor all these different schools and school athletics, so you've got a special person working at one of your stores. I heard, and so I have to ask you. So, is it supporting Vista Ridge? Supporting?
That's right.
But which school do you support? I guess
tonight. We do have to be careful because we do have stores everywhere. We got to make sure we don't offend anybody. But tonight we do. We have one of our employees. Unfortunately, he's hurt. Quinn Holland is on the team, and so he's one of our employees, and so we're here at the Avery Ranch store and Summer Moon. We're here to root him on and root on the team. So
we appreciate all the support you provide for Vista Ridge football, and thank you for joining us here at halftime. Is there any shout outs, anybody you want to give kudos to, or just say hello to?
Yeah, I just want to thank my team, man. We work really hard to make Summer Moon a very fun, comfortable place to come in, and our team really works hard. All our employees just bust their tail, and we hope that we meet everybody's expectations. So give them a shout out for working so hard for us.
Well, Randy, thank you so much for joining us here at halftime. And Summer Moon Coffee, a big sponsor of Vista Ridge football. And head on out to Summer Moon and try one of those wood-fired coffees and the moon milk. Sounds like the lattes is the way to go.
There you go.
So we're still at halftime here, and we're the marching band, the Cedar Ridge marching band, is on the field. We're going to take a break, and again, it's a 42-7 score here at halftime. It's the Elder Mitsubishi Motors broadcast of Rangers football right here on the KMAX Sports Vype Media Network.
Vype Media is the state's most comprehensive high school sports media outlet, covering UIL, private schools. Vype has been in Texas for over a decade. Visit their website at Vype, VYPE, and also pick up your Vype magazine today. Get in the game with Vype Media.
KMAX Sports is the largest online broadcast company in Central Texas. How large is that? Well, think of the Congress Avenue Bridge Bat Colony.
Okay, folks, here they come. They're flying out from under the bridge. They appear to be Louisville Sluggers, and they're falling. Oh, the humanity.
As God is my witness, I thought bats could fly. Bringing your teams to you since 2003 without dropping the ball or the bat. We are KMAX Sports.
Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes is from right here in Austin. As you know, Austin has several fine burger establishments. That's why we're especially proud that Zagat has rated Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes the #1 burger in Austin. So is it Zagat or Zagat's? Like I said, there are several good burger places here in Austin. But as you know, there's good and then there's Mighty Fine. Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes.
In the battle for barbecue supremacy, warriors pit prime meats, secret sauces, and recipes against one another. Yet one champion stands alone. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, in the modern-day vernacular, where bad means good. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue has the worst barbecue in Texas.
Vype Media is the state's most comprehensive high school sports media outlet, covering UIL, private schools. Vype has been in Texas for over a decade. Visit their website at Vype, VYPE, and also pick up your Vype magazine today. Get in the game with Vype Media.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.
And back at Gupton Stadium, it's halftime, 42-7. Vista Ridge trails the Cedar Ridge Raiders here from Gupton Stadium. And Johnny Baeza, Nicholas Peters, Jace Andrews, Marco Baeza, and Randy Fry. And just a little bit of talk about the first half, Nicholas. I mean, it just started terrible for Vista Ridge, and it just kind of snowballed throughout the first half. A quick fumble, return for a touchdown, 7-0, and 3 turnovers, I believe, in the first half for Vista Ridge, and the short field for Cedar Ridge gives them this 35-point advantage.
Ridge side of the field the entire first half, operating with a short field most of the time, but also just that explosive Cedar Ridge offense. There's just, they are loaded with talent. We can say that about a couple of teams in Central Texas, but I, for one, am incredibly impressed with what we've seen from them specifically on offense.
And then nice job there in the later part of the first half, that big touchdown pass, 49-yarder from Brown tonight to put Vista Ridge on the board. And that time, everything worked on that play. It was great protection, a great route, a great pass, and it's a nice touchdown pass there for Vista Ridge.
Yeah, most of the night it's been issues with timing on offense. We've had issues, obviously, with the snap. A new center tonight for the majority of the first half before they put Greer Gerasi back at center late in the first half. That obviously sets up, a center that the quarterback is used to, a snap that the quarterback is used to, whether it's Cantu or Brown. And on that play, we were talking about the penetration from Cedar Ridge most of the first half from their defensive line, putting pressure on the quarterback for Vista Ridge. But finally, we see some great protection, some great routes by the receivers, and as you said right after the play, when everything's working for Vista Ridge, they can do some big things. They've got some serious weapons of their own, but that really has been one of only a few plays where everything was clicking for the Vista Ridge offense.
And quickly around 13-6A, Round Rock leads Stony Point 36-0. Where's that defense Stony Point played against us last week? Vandergrift already beat Westwood 21-12. To go undefeated, to stay undefeated in district play. And McNeil over Leander 55-20, and then this game here. So a big game over there that we thought it was going to be it was going to be the game of the week, I think, in 13-6A, but Round Rock just running away from Stony Point 36-0. Right now, we're just going to take you down to the field so you can enjoy the sounds of the Vista Ridge High School Marching Band. Well, for the second time this year, the Vista Ridge performance at halftime has been cut short by Mother Nature as the rain is beginning to come down here at Gupton Stadium, and the band has marched off the field. So we're going to go ahead and take a break. We're still at halftime here from Gupton Stadium. It's the Vista Ridge Rangers broadcast, sponsored by the Elder Mitsubishi Motors, right here on the KMAX Sports Vype Media Network.
KMAX Sports is the largest online broadcast company in Central Texas. How large is that? Well, think Mopac Improvement Project, except we're always on budget, our price never fluctuates, and we're always on time. I mean, are they ever going to finish this thing? Right this very second, I'm stuck northbound at 5th Street. Bringing your teams to you since 2003. We are KMAX Sports.
1, 2, 3, hit! More coverage of your high school teams. Let's just say we keep it real.
And you know this, man!
This is the KMAX Sports Network.
Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes is from right here in Austin. As you know, Austin has several fine burger establishments. That's why we're especially proud that Zagat has rated Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes the #1 burger in Austin. So is it Zagat or Zagat's? Like I said, there are several good burger places here in Austin. But as you know, there's good and then there's Mighty Fine. Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes.
In the battle for barbecue supremacy, warriors pit prime meats, secret sauces, and recipes against one another. Yet one champion stands alone. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, in the modern-day vernacular, where bad means good. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue has the worst barbecue in Texas.
Vype Media is the state's most comprehensive high school sports media outlet, covering UIL, private schools. Vype has been in Texas for over a decade. Visit their website at Vype, VYPETexas.com. And also pick up your Vype magazine today. Get in the game with Vype Media.
KMAX Sports is the largest online broadcast company in Central Texas. How large is that? Well, think of the Congress Avenue Bridge Bat Colony.
Okay, folks, here they come. They're flying out from under the bridge. They appear to be Louisville Sluggers, and they're falling. Oh, the humanity.
As God is my witness, I thought bats could fly. Bringing your teams to you since 2003 without dropping the ball or the bat. We are KMAX Sports.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.
And back at Gupton Stadium, Johnny Baez and Nicholas Peters, Jace Andrews, Randy Fry, and Margo Baez. It's the Elder Mitsubishi Motors broadcast of Rangers football right here on the KMAX Sports Vype Media Network. And we'd like to thank Summer Moon Coffee, Foxhole Culinary Tavern, Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes, Randall Jones and Associates, Schlotzky's, Serrano's Cocina y Cantina, Vista Ridge Family Dentistry, and Zaxby's, the official chicken of your Vista Ridge Rangers. And it's a very brief halftime entertainment here by both the marching bands. Cedar Ridge was able to get their full performance in, but the rain kind of chased off the Vista Ridge Rangers High School marching band, and right now it's a 42-7 score as Cedar Ridge, 3 touchdown passes to Jalen Ellis. Deuce Vaughn has a touchdown. Isaac has a touchdown. And can't think of I think Deuce Vaughn has 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns tonight, yep. And it's and they're getting the football first. So we saw a little bit of them rolling out the depth chart. There's some of the second stringers were able to come in early, even more, somewhat unexpected as early as they were playing them. So you kind of expect that to be in the second half as well. Get some of these guys some playing time, try to build up that depth. This is a Cedar Ridge team that's probably preparing at this point to not only close out the rest of the district, but then head into the playoffs. So you want to have everybody available, everyone ready, everyone know their assignments before you get to that point. It was Canfield with that fumble return for a touchdown that I was missing. So 42-0. I think with Cedar Ridge, maybe they went into the Vandergrift game not knowing what Vandergrift had. It was the first time they've ever played, and it was an overtime loss, 17-14, as Barney hit the field goal in overtime, and they came back from a 14-0 deficit. But now it seems like they've kind of
righted the ship, and they're just going to each and every week as a one game at a time kind of mentality. And boy, they've been performing well with wins over Stony Point, wins over Hendrickson now, big up against Cedar Ridge. They've put up 60 points against Leander. So this is offensive clicking, and you see how quick and powerful they are on the defensive line too, as they get a lot of penetration, they cause a lot of disruption, and those linebackers are quick.
Very quick, and they're bringing a blitz. They're bringing an extra man almost every play. And a team like Vista Ridge that likes to do a lot of sleight of hand, likes to do a lot of zone reads. Some of those plays take a little more time to develop. And with the speed of Cedar Ridge, you really can't rely heavily on that because they're going to be in the backfield and they're going to disrupt it. We've seen it a couple times tonight, not only in terms of turnovers, but just Vista Ridge at various times going backwards as opposed to forwards on particular drives.
And that was the bad snaps. I mean, Kyle Brown had to go back and fall on a couple of balls, snaps that were over his head. The snap coming back slow back to in the shotgun formation, causing the mistiming on the plays. But positives wise for Vista Ridge, I mean, Darian Carter just having himself a heck of a game defensively, as he again nothing but 110% for that Vista Ridge linebacker, a senior, and we think he's already the leading tackler in Vista Ridge football history, even surpassing Micah Thomas's numbers.
Which is very big to say for those that might be listening and don't know who Micah Thomas is. He was a 3-year captain for the Navy midshipman as the middle linebacker, and someone who every defensive player for Vista Ridge, whether you're on the line or at linebacker, that's somebody you look up to is Micah Thomas. And so for Darian Brown to be able to surpass him in terms of total tackles is a very big deal. But I feel like we say Darian Brown's having himself a game every week. Darian Carter, sorry, and he is the leader of that linebacking crew, and he has this little internal rivalry with him and Luke Horn as they work out together, I believe, with the same trainer, and so both of those guys lined up on the same side of the line. They're doing everything they can to disrupt the opposing offense, and tonight it's been Carter all night long has been the real standout for the Ranger defense.
And there was some shakeup defensively, and another Alfredo Saenz has been active all over the football, defending passes, and just Cedar Ridge just has some great skilled position players, and they know how to run after the catch, or just run when they're out in the open field and make guys miss. And so Vista Ridge, they have a lot of work to do, but each and every week now for the rest of the season, this is just the start of a 3-game series, 3-game set that it's just one of the comparable to McNeil's last 4 games of the year. So they face Cedar Ridge tonight, Hendrickson next week. They got the bye week, and then they host Round Rock. So those are 3 games that, they've got some opportunity to, maybe not, they're out of the playoffs, that's for sure, but still kind of make some noise in 13-6A and kind of ruin somebody else's season.
Yeah, when you're out of the playoffs and you know that at this point in the season, you're playing for pride. So if you're the Vista Ridge Rangers, and Coach Vincent's going to want to see what he's got, not only, who's going to step up and who's going to, play their tail off for the rest of the season, but also what he's got coming back next year. We talked about the fact that we're seeing some juniors, we're seeing a lot of sophomores actually getting some playing time. And so, Coach Vincent's going to give those guys playing time. If those are the guys that are practicing hard throughout the week and they're really busting their tails and really want to get the playing time, he's going to give it to them and let them, try to put their stamp on this team for this season.
So it's middle school night and cancer awareness night here, and middle school night. The Hawks and the Spartans were represented here tonight before the game, and and we talk. Coach Vincent mentioned that in his interview about how much these football players go out and mentor the middle school kids, and now each one of them has dedicated the game here tonight to somebody somebody they know that has been affected by that horrible disease that we call cancer, and and that gives us the opportunity to give a shout out to all the survivors for their thank you and appreciate their inspiration and the way they fight each and every day against that horrible disease. The caregivers who give up a lot of their time to take care of these cancer survivors, the volunteers. Without the volunteers, any charity or charitable organization would not exist, and then all the donors, because without the money we wouldn't able to fund research, help the people that need help. And so it is a team that puts all this together, and we appreciate each and everybody's effort to combat and try to finish the fight against cancer. We're about 2 minutes away from kickoff here at Gupton Stadium. We're going to take another short break it's a 42-7 score, and it's the Elder Mitsubishi Motors broadcast of Rangers football right here on the KMAX Sports Vype Media Network.
Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes is from right here in Austin. As you know, Austin has several fine burger establishments. That's why we're especially proud that Zagat has rated Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes the #1 burger in Austin. So is it Zagat or Zagat's? Like I said, there are several good burger places here in Austin. But as you know, there's good and then there's Mighty Fine. Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes.
Vype Media is the state's most comprehensive high school sports media outlet, covering UIL, private schools. Vype has been in Texas for over a decade. Visit their website at Vype, Texas.com. And also pick up your Vype magazine today. Get in the game with Vype Media.
In the battle for barbecue supremacy, warriors pit prime meats, secret sauces, and recipes against one another. Yet one champion stands alone. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, in the modern-day vernacular, where bad means good. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue has the worst barbecue in Texas.
KMAX Sports is the largest online broadcast company in Central Texas. How large is that? Well, think of the state capitol if it was full of sports. I mean, the rotunda is more than large enough for basketball or volleyball, and let's face it, anything we do in there is going to be better than what's going on right now. Plus, those guys only work every 2 years. We bring your teams to you every doggone day. Bringing your teams to you since 2003. We are KMAX Sports.
Socialize with us.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, that dang old internet, man, you just go on there and point and click, 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 click. It's real easy, man.
On Twitter, at KMAX Sports. Or catch us on Facebook. Search KMAX Sports. Just another way KMAX Sports is bringing your teams to you.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.
And back at Gupton Stadium as the tunnels get deflated. Both teams are on the field as we get ready to start the third quarter, and Cedar Ridge will be getting the football first with a 42-7 lead and trying to keep pace with the Vandergrift Vipers, who have already won tonight. So Vandergrift, they've got the bye week left, and I think they have McNeil. No, they already played McNeil. I try to do everything by memory, and sometimes I'm getting old, and that, a bed has better memory than I do right now. They play Vandergrift's got open next week. Then they play Leander, and they finish the season with Stony Point. So Stony Point might be a little upset after what Round Rock's doing to them tonight.
And kind of surprising, that score, to be honest. I know the Dragons are having a great season, but so is the Stony Point Tigers. So kind of surprising. I mean, that's a rivalry game as well. Anything can happen, and what's happening tonight is Round Rock is in complete control.
So Hughes is going to kick it off here, and they've got 3 returners deep here for Cedar Ridge. It's Jalen Ellis. It's number 1, Marquise Taylor. And number 12, Mark Anthony Walker. And it's going to be a little onside kick, and Cedar Ridge was ready for it. Boy, hustling down there. Is that Hughes? Hughes was hustling down there to recover the onside kick, but it's covered very well. Number 88, Christian Gaba.
Hughes actually almost got to that ball. As you said, hustling is one way to put it. He was sprinting as hard as he could and dove into the knees.
Well, what a great call by Coach Vincent coming out of the locker room here at halftime. Unfortunate they didn't get it, but
you've got to be aggressive at this point. You're down by 35 points. Why not take a chance there? And unfortunately, it doesn't pan out, and then you put Cedar Ridge back on the field with, a short field in terms of the location of the ball.
And it's Brown. It's going to hand it off to Isaac. Isaac over to the right side, up the middle at the 40. He's in the open at the 25. Allen's got the angle, and he's going to bring him down. No, Isaac's still running. Drags Allen for about 5 yards, and he's tackled inside the 5 at the 4-yard line. 50-yard pickup. First and goal, Cedar Ridge.
They go right back to it, just up the middle, up the gut run. And, so far Vista Ridge has been able to, keep that within 10 to 15 yards. But on that one, there's no one in the second line of defense for the Rangers. And he goes barreling through. And as you said, carrying Allen for additional yardage, 1st and goal.
And he's going to get the football again over the left side. Touchdown, Cedar Ridge. 2 plays, 54 yards. It's a 48-7 score with a pending extra point coming up. So that drive took all of 34 seconds on 2 plays to go 54 yards. Camp with the extra point. And it's good. Well, again, as the game last week, Stony Point came out and scored quickly right out of the gate, right out of the locker room, and Cedar Ridge does the same thing here, and they've got a 6-touchdown lead.
Yeah, if you're Vista Ridge at this point on offense, to see how you answer. You don't want to. Coach Vincent, we know, does an incredible job of keeping these guys focused in terms of, even if they are down by quite a bit, they're not going to quit. They're not just going to give up. So we'll see if it's, Drew Cantu or Kyle Brown, how they're going to guide the offense back down the field and try to answer that score and just show the fight for the rest of the night.
Allen and Mayberry are deep for the Rangers, awaiting the kickoff from camp, as Hutto has taken a 45-14 lead at halftime over Cedar Park. 36-0 Stony Point, trailing Round Rock still at halftime. Georgetown up 14-3 over Pflugerville. Glenn hanging in there with Eastview 17-7. Bowie 28-7 over Aikens. Dripping Springs 42-0 over Lanier. OBJ 38-0 over Crockett at the half, as Camp kicks this off. And it's going to be Mayberry at his own 14-yard line. He's going to try to go to the left side, cuts it back up the middle at the 30. Tries to make a cut, but slips and is corralled there by Chris Laws, the linebacker, and it's going to be 1st and 10, Vista Ridge at their own 33-yard line. And it's going to be Gandu and Haynes in the backfield. Podolak can be split left. Messner the tight end, and Jones will be here split wide right. And they have Podolak in motion. And they're going to hand it off to Haynes. Haynes makes a move and eludes the first tackler again. Rashad Rhines misses in the backfield, and Haynes picks up a yard to the 34, 2nd and 9.
Yeah, Rhines misses the tackle, but right behind him is Tyler Swanberg, the defensive end, just cruising down the line, breaking off of his block, and able to bring signs down from behind. I mean, there's holes there for the Vista Ridge offense, but they're just closing so quickly. The speed and the power of the Cedar Ridge defensive line has been very impressive.
2nd and 9 for the Rangers. And again, a high snap. Can do a nice job in controlling it. Up the middle, he's got the receiver Fogg, and nice catch. And finally dragged down by Brandon Crane. But it's going to be a 1st down all the way to the 47-yard line, a 13-yard pickup. 1st and 10, Vista Ridge. Again, great protection for Cantu that time, and looks like Gerasi is back at his center position. Parsons has moved over to right guard. And Joseph Mendoza looks like he's playing right tackle, and now that's Haynes up the middle, makes a move and spin and fumble. And looks like Vista Ridge fell on it. As he was making that move, that ball came loose, and big number 65, the offensive lineman, alertly falls on the football. That is Avery Allen. It's a pickup of 4, 2nd and 6.
Yeah, Avery Allen with the drive-saving recovery there. Signs busting up the middle, tried to pull a little Ty Mayberry with a spin move, but as he spun, the ball gets ripped out of his arms. When you're trying to spin in the heart of several tacklers, that's one of the things that's always going to be a danger, is one of those guys just sticking a paw in there and ripping the ball out.
So it's a 3-yard pickup, 2nd and 7. Haynes fumbled it backwards, and nice job by Allen. And now Cantu, he's going to take it out of the Haynes got it, and it's got Fogg over here on the wheel route, dropped. Well, that had potential. That looked like he was going to go the distance, but the pass was a little low, but catchable, and Fogg unable to hold on to it. Is going to bring up 3rd down and 7.
Yeah,
that's a missed opportunity there.
It was. It's a great play call by the offensive staff by Vista Ridge, finding Fogg just running free as Drew Cantu was riding Haynes quite a bit with the zone read, just staying with him to see if the play was going to develop. He freezes the linebackers or pulls him in. Unfortunately, just couldn't make the connection. Otherwise, as you said, that's a touchdown for the Rangers.
So 3rd down and 7. Mayberry in the backfield with Cantu. Ball is at midfield, and now it's going to be a whistle on the offensive line. It's going to be on the right tackle. That's Jake Hoffman. So it's Gerasi, Parsons, and Hoffman on the right side. Allen and Turner. Left tackle, left guard. On 3rd down and 12 now. That's Cantu now skips the pressure. He had some running room, and now he's going to throw it, and it's going to be incomplete. Underthrown, but it looked like he had the 1st down if he would have just taken off. There was a wide open lane there on the far sideline, but he decides to launch it downfield to Fogg, and it's broken up by Brandon Lang, and it's going to bring up 4th down and 12, and Vista Ridge will punt.
Yeah, sometimes as the quarterback, when you see a receiver running that post route and you got man coverage, your eyes get too big for your own good, and you want to just launch it down there, which is what he did. But I agree, JB, if he just kept running over there to the left side, he had a receiver vacating the area and taking the defensive back with him. There's a good chance he picks up the 1st down, if not more.
Hughes back to punt. Last time a good snap and a good punt, and it's going to bounce at the 33-yard line and take a Vista Ridge bounce, and it's going to roll inside the 20. And it's going to die right there at the 18-yard line. So this is the worst field position Cedar Ridge has had all night, as they'll have it 1st and 10 with 8:45 left to play in the 3rd quarter at their own 18-yard line, up 49-7. And I'm Johnny Baez along with Jay Sanders, Nicholas Peters, Randy Fry, Margo Baeza, Elder Mitsubishi Motors broadcast of Rangers football right here on the KMAX Sports Broadcast Network. As Turner now will be the quarterback for the Rangers, and he puts Taylor in motion to the right side, and they're going to hand it off to Taylor. Taylor's got a seam on the right side, makes a move. He's the 40-yard line. He's at midfield. He's got one man to beat. The angle is by Malachi Bird, and he's going to outrun Bird to the end zone. Touchdown, Cedar Ridge. Taylor on a little receiver sweep. The jet sweep, and he takes it the distance, 82 yards, and it's a 55-7 score.
As he got to the 2nd level, he's just stepping through tackles there. I'm not sure if any of those guys actually got a finger on him. Again, yet another player for this Raider offense that can just make moves in the open field. And if he gets loose and gets to the 2nd level, he is a lightning bolt headed towards the end zone.
There's a whistle. Flag's down. I don't think this one's going to count. And they blow it dead as Vista Ridge is offsides.
I think it was offsides with contact, so given the contact, they're just going to have them, they'll move it up a yard and redo it.
Encroachment. Defense. So 3 plays here in this 3rd quarter. 14 points for the Raiders. As Camp hits the extra point. And it is a 56-7 game with 8:29 to go here in the 3rd quarter. We're going to take a short break. It's the Elder Mitsubishi Motors broadcast of Rangers football right here on the KMAX Sports Vype Media Network.
KMAX Sports is the largest online broadcast company in Central Texas. How large is that? Well, think of the state capitol if it was full of sports. The rotunda is more than large enough for basketball or volleyball, and let's face it, anything we do in there is going to be better than what's going on right now. Plus, those guys only work every 2 years. We bring your teams to you every doggone day. Bringing your teams to you since 2003. We are KMAX Sports.
Vype Media is the state's most comprehensive high school sports media outlet, covering UIL, private schools. Vype has been in Texas for over a decade. Visit their website at Vype, VYPE, Texas.com. And also pick up your Vype magazine today. Get in the game with Vype Media.
From West Texas all the way to the bayou and all points in between.
I saw miles and miles of Texas.
This is the KMAX Sports Network, bringing your teams to you.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.
And Camp puts his foot into it, and it's going to be Mayberry at the 7-yard line, drops it, picks it up, trying to make a move, breaks a tackle, spins, and it's going to go down at the 17-yard line. Again, great coverage by Cedar Ridge as Michael DeBari, the defensive back, down there to make the stop on Mayberry, and it's going to be 1st and 10 Vista Ridge at their own 17-yard line. And Kyle Brown will be the quarterback here for the Rangers, as Thomas will be in the backfield, and he's going to send Podolak, Jones, and Messner to the left side. Fogg here to the near side. And now the offensive line is going to need to protect the quarterback as Brown steps back, looking. Now he's going to tuck it and run it. He's at the 20, 25, and just falls forward. He's brought down there from behind by Nick Schroeder, the defensive tackle, but he picks up 8 to the 25. It'll be 2nd and 2.
You see Cedar Ridge there just diagnosing the play, only rushing 4 and leaving a linebacker to play more of a zone coverage for any slants across the middle. Kyle Brown, recognizing that, does the smart thing, tucks it, drops it down and tucks it, picks up what he can, because there's no one open.
So 2nd and 2. This time joining Brown in the backfield is Adam Fogg, and Thomas to the right, and he's going to fake it to Thomas. He's going to throw to Fogg the other side. That time Fogg again. Brown this time leads Fogg too much, and Fogg trying to make a diving catch. Unable to come up with a football. It falls incomplete. It'll be 3rd down and 2. Again, he was wide open.
Yeah, the Rangers are finding something with these wheel routes and lining up 2 guys in the backfield. No one picks up Fogg from the Cedar Ridge side. It looks like that might have been a linebacker's responsibility, but instead the linebacker was actually coming in on a blitz. A good pickup there by the offensive line, leaving Fogg just wide open. But, can't make the connection yet again. Otherwise, Fogg is probably still running.
Again, nice job by both quarterbacks. Come 2 in the previous series, and Brown here is just riding the running back and wait until the shooter get open. There's Thomas up the middle. Positive yardage. He's going to pick up the 1st down. So he gets it all the way to the 28-yard line. Needed 2, got 3. And the Rangers move the chains. Seven minutes to go, 3rd quarter, 56-7 Cedar Ridge, as Mayberry checks in for Thomas, as Brown will send Fogg here to the near side. Twins to the left. Gerasi as Messner in motion to the left side. It's going to be Mayberry with a handoff over to the left side, and now looking for some running room, and just kind of tries to get to the outside, but right there is the Cedar Ridge defense, and he's going to be dropped for a loss. Tackled there by Ciandre Sterling, the defensive back. Loss of 1.
And we're starting to see a lot of the second level of the Cedar Ridge defense, just again trying to get some depth out there, let the backups get in and get some playing time. And they're really holding that the offensive or the line of scrimmage well, namely Austin Tua Tagovailoa, which is just a fun name to say, but that is a big nose tackle down there in the middle for the Raiders.
2nd and 11, and now it's going to be Mayberry. Oh, great move by Brown to get away from the rush, and he's just going to throw it away as he is pressured by Tyler Swansburg, and there was no receiver out there on that side of the field. So great pressure there by Cedar Ridge. Was that Devin Taylor, the linebacker, coming in there and forcing Brown to scramble there?
Yeah, did a great job of showing off his elusiveness there, but unfortunately he rolls to the side of the field where, as you said, there's no receiver route on the left side of the field, so everybody's running right. His only option was either to throw it away or try to tuck it and run, but there really was nowhere to go for him with the continued pressure.
So 3rd and 11 for the Rangers. Clock stopped with 5:53 to go here in the third quarter. Brown, this time straight drop back. He's got a receiver over there in the right sideline. It's caught. What a pass and what a catch. Draped all over the receiver. Fogg was number 27 for Cedar Ridge, Brandon Lang, and Fogg comes down with the football and moves the chains. Big third down conversion for the Rangers. They're at the 40-yard line, 13-yard pickup.
Well, Adam Fogg, the leading receiver on this for this Ranger offense, and continuing to show why that is the case. He does a great job of getting himself open, a little comeback route there to just get beyond the sticks, and a great catch, as you said, under serious duress with the defensive back all over him. I was actually surprised he was able to bring that in.
1st and 10, another high snap. Brown pitches it out to Mayberry. Mayberry is going to get to the edge. He's at the 40, hit at the 45, spins away from a tackle, still on his feet. Andre Sterling came up and tried to lay the hit on Mayberry, and Mayberry won that battle right there as he just bounced off, spun away, and picked up another 5-6 yards for a gain of 8, 2nd and 2.
Not only is Ty Mayberry very difficult to bring down, just given his ability to make a move, his speed, his strength, which is not something you expect from someone his size, but I don't know that we've seen anyone get a clean hit on Ty Mayberry this season. He does such a great job of making himself small or using his wiggle to ensure that he doesn't get popped like we see a lot of running backs do.
And he finishes the run. Running backs that can finish the run. Deliver that hit. Now he's going to carry the football again to the right side. No, it's Brown. It's going to be Fogg. Looks like he stepped out of bounds, but it's going to be incomplete. No, it looks like he caught it. They're going to give him the catch at the 25-yard line. It looks like he's hurt.
Yeah,
what a nice job there. I thought he ran out of bounds here at about the 35-yard line, but managed to stay in bounds. The referee didn't throw his hat down there or the flag, and it's going to be a great catch by Fogg as he gets it at the 25-yard line. That is a 27-yard pickup.
It was a huge catch by Fogg and a great diving play there, but I think he did land on the football, and that's why he's shaken up.
Hopefully he just has the wind knocked out of him. Yeah. Hope it's not a rib. As he's going to get up and walk to the sideline on his own power. Seems to be okay. So nice job, great effort. So 2 big catches on this drive so far for Adam Fogg, and he's got Vista Ridge. Deepest penetration of the night for the Rangers offense. Well, the touchdown, excuse me. 2nd deepest penetration here, 25-yard line. Cedar Ridge side of the field. And in for Fogg is Tristan Little, and he's going to be split wide left. Podolak here to the right side as Brown looking at the sideline. Play clock approaching 10 seconds. Thomas is in there at running back. Under 5 now is the play clock. They're just going to get it off, and another high snap, and they're going to go deep. And he's got Caleb Cross over here, and Cross trying to come back for the football. And great defensive play there as he just kind of kept running with Cross, and his pass is incomplete.
Some contact.
Yeah, that was number 28. That was Brendan Crane.
Some contact from both players is they kind of bump into each other. So I think Cross might have been looking at the ref to get a pass interference call. But when the defensive back is looking back for the ball and you've got your hands on the DB as well, they're typically not going to throw that flag for you.
Right. He's only a junior there. He can learn and try to see if he can force the ref there to make a call, try to come back for the football. But it falls incomplete. 2nd and 10 from the 25. And it's going to be Thomas up the middle, and wrapping him up is number 99, Austin Tuatagaloa, senior defensive tackle, and brings Thomas down for a 1-yard loss.
And here you go, 3rd and 11, and the clock ticking. You wonder if Vista Ridge tries to go back to the well, so to speak, and see if they can't find yet another one of those wheel routes running wide open.
So 3rd and 11. Little and Knight And now it's going to be a reverse. No, it's going to be Brown. He's got a wide receiver. That's Fogg. Open at the 10 to the 5. Brought down at the 4-yard line. Another great pass by Brown. A great route by Fogg. And there was a lot of action in the backfield. They faked the reverse, and Brown kept the football and found Fogg right open. And first and goal, Vista Ridge at the 4-yard line.
Again, a great pass play and a great draw up there by the offensive staff of the Vista Ridge Rangers. Showing a little trickery here to continue to
trying to get that quick Cedar Ridge defense, kind of little misdirection plays, and it's a 22-yard pickup there for Fogg. 52 yards receiving for Adam Fogg here on this drive, and it's first and goal on the ball at the 4. High snap, great job by Brown. Gets it over to Thomas. Thomas eludes the tackler in the backfield, and now fumble. It's at the 1-yard line. Cedar Ridge says they have it, and they do. Again, Thomas trying to make a move, loses the football. And I believe making the recovery is number 18. Is that Seandre Sterling? So a big turnover there, the 4th turnover of the night by the Rangers, and it happens at the 1-yard line. That was the 12th play of the drive that started at the 17-yard line. And they end up with 0 points on the turnover. 2:05 to go third quarter. Cedar Ridge has it first and 10 from their own 1-yard line. Man, they had taken over 6 minutes off the clock, too, on that drive, did Vista Ridge.
It was an impressive drive, and you just hate to see it end that way for the Rangers.
Turner, a little out pattern here for the receiver, Lee Rhines, and he drops it. 2nd and 10.
And you finally get something going on offense, and you're able to drive it all the way down the field on this very quick, very powerful Cedar Ridge defense, and then ending it like that is just
heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking. That's the best word for it. Absolutely.
2 minutes to go third quarter. 2nd and 10 for the Raiders as Turner sends 2 receivers to the right side. And they're going to hand it off, and it's a running back over the right side. He's got some running room out to the 15. That is Jed Kinnis, the senior. And he gets it out to the 17-yard line. 16-yard pickup. 1st and 10 Raiders, and now they've got some room to work with, and playbook opens up a little bit more as Rhines is split wide left. Kennis is in the backfield, and he's going to get the football again. This time nothing doing. Getting penetration is Alfredo Saenz, and he brings him down for a 1-yard loss. Nice play by the Vista Ridge linebacker.
Yeah, Saenz finally found the hole to get through and create that penetration. We've seen him a couple times tonight able to put some pressure on the quarterback. This time on a designed run blitz, gets into the backfield and just brings the man down. It's a great play there by Alfredo Saenz.
Colton Stahl is in the game for Luke Horn. Oliver Marks now in at linebacker for Vista Ridge. And it's 2nd and 11, and now Turner looking. He's being pressured, and he's going to go deep, and he's going to overthrow the receiver as he was being tackled there by number 44 for the Rangers. That is Colton Stahl. And also on the tackle was, trying to get his number, is that 33? Leighton Bolden, the linebacker. So passing complete, 3rd down and 11. Nice job of putting pressure on Turner and forcing the errant throw. And 47 seconds left third quarter. 2 receivers to the right side for the Cedar Ridge Raiders. And Turner's rolling to the right, looking. He's got 2 receivers out there. He throws, incomplete. What a job to separate the player from the football. That is Cannon Cromas coming up and laying the hit on the receiver, and it's going to bring up 4th down. What a big play there. He had enough for the 1st down there.
Yeah, no, Cromas having himself a game, an interception to end the first half, and then there just to force the 4th down. Even though they turned the ball over, Cedar Ridge starting with their worst field position of the night, you think after the big running play that maybe they're going to start to do something on offense, but a great job there by Cromas just coming up and making the tackle. Like you said, he really did separate the receiver from the football as soon as the ball got there.
Janda back deep, standing at the Cedar Ridge 45-yard line. I believe this is the first punt by Cedar Ridge. As Christian Gaba set to punt the football, and it's going to take a bounce, and it's going to hit Janda, and Janda's going to have to pick that up, and he falls on it. Gets a couple of yards return on it, and it's going to be 1st and 10 Rangers. You know, what is their best field position here tonight at the Cedar Ridge 43-yard line.
Yeah, Janda in the future, I think, is going to do a much better job of getting out of the, just, you know, screen Peter and get out of the way of the football. If you're going to let it bounce, you need to get out of the way of it. You have no idea how that ball is going to bounce up, and it bounces up and directly into his chest. He had a Cedar Ridge defender right on top of him, too. He was lucky to be able to fall back on that and maintain possession.
Anthony Roldan checks in at running back for Vista Ridge as Cantu is in at quarterback with 28 seconds left. Vista Ridge down 56-7. And now Cantu, straight drop back, looking to throw. He's got a receiver up the middle, knocked away. Great play by the linebacker there, number 40, Brett Hartgrove, as he was shooting for the receiver, Bryce Jones, coming across the middle. That time, nice job of the offensive line creating that protection and allowing Cantu to step up in the pocket and make the throw, but a nice job there by Hartgrove, the linebacker, to knock the ball down. Tristan Little, Jones to the left side. Adam Fogg here to the near side. Mayberry in the backfield. Cantu back to throw. Now he's just going to tuck it and run it. He's got, an open lane, but nice job. Just Tyler Swanberg just diving and grabbing Cantu's legs and bringing him down after a 3-yard gain. That looked like he'd had first down written all over it.
Yeah, Swanberg was coming in on a crash play, decides to peel back whenever he sees that it's a pass as opposed to a run. Cantu steps up and tries to take off. But Swanberg, as you said, does a great job peeling all the way back to be able to make the tackle. Otherwise, Cantu might have had himself a first down.
And that's the end of the third quarter. And we're going to take a short break. It's the Elder Mitsubishi Motors broadcast of Rangers football right here in the KMAX Sports Vype Media Network. Rangers trail 56-7.
Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes is from right here in Austin. As you know, Austin has several fine burger establishments. That's why we're especially proud that Zagat has rated Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes the #1 burger in Austin. So is it Zagat or Zagat's? Like I said, there are several good burger places here in Austin. But as you know, there's good and then there's Mighty Fine. Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes.
From West Texas all the way to the bayou and all points in between.
I saw miles and miles of Texas.
This is the KMAX Sports Network, bringing your teams to you.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.
Rangers have it 3rd and 7 from their own 40-yard line as we get underway here in the third quarter. Johnny Baez, Nicholas Peters, Chase Andrews, Randy Fry, Margo Baez, and Cantu is going to fake it. He's got a receiver up the middle. Caught! Caleb Cross at the 20, to the 15, to the 10, and a touchdown-saving tackle there by Jonathan Powell, the defensive back, and what an excellent throw by Cantu. What a route by Cross, and Cross has Vista Ridge inside the 10-yard line. First down and goal.
It's just a great recognition there by Cantu. He has a man coverage on Cross on the outside. His big wide receiver just decides to take advantage of it, throws it to a place where only his guy can get it. And a huge play by Cross, showing the wheels there, showing off some speed as he was starting to break away from the defensive back.
So that was a 31-yard pickup. First and goal, Vista Ridge. On a big play there from Cantu to Caleb Cross. Boy, Caleb Cross was smelling that end zone, wasn't he? You can tell he kicked it to that extra gear at about the 20-yard line. And now Mayberry going to the right side, breaking a tackle, and he probably is lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. In on the tackle is Dakota Regal, the linebacker. Also, Swansburg, Hartgrove, and Mayberry's dropped for a loss of 1. Second and goal from the 9. Knight lines up to the right side. You got Podolak, Jones, and Messner here to the left side. Mayberry the backfield as Podolak In motion, low snap. Cantu, nice job taking it off the turf. Throws and incomplete. Threw it over the head of Podolak and short of Adam Fogg. In the end zone, it's going to be 3rd down and goal from the 9.
Yeah, I'm not sure where Cantu was trying to go with that ball. As you said, it was too high for Podolak to make a play on it, and well short of Adam Fogg. I think he was just trying to get it into a general area.
Yeah, that play he just started panicking because that play was a low snap. It was a nice job of just picking it up off the turf, but pass is incomplete. 3rd down and goal from the 9. He's got 2 receivers here to the left side. Messner. And he's going to roll to the right, trying to get around, and he's not going to go anywhere. Great job by the defensive end over there in Nick Schroeder, as he just did not let Cantu get to the edge and brings him down for a sack back all the way to the 18-yard line, a loss of 9. It's going to bring up 4th down, and looks like Hughes is going to come in to try a field goal of about 35 yards.
Yeah, that time the Cedar Ridge defense showing blitz, and they were, not doing no mistakes on that blitz. They were going to bring 6 guys, and recognizing that Vista Ridge didn't have 6 to block.
Hughes hit a 43-yard field goal in the first half against Leander, and he kicks this one, and hits the crossbar and bounces back. Just needed about another maybe 6 inches of height on that one, but just some bad luck there for Hughes as the ball hits the crossbar and bounces back into the field of play. The 35-yard field goal is no good, and it's Cedar Ridge football at their own 20-yard line. Didn't look like anybody got a hand on it. It's just short.
No, but there was a lot of pressure, which may have forced him to do a quick kick there, just get everything on it.
So Turner hands it off to the running back. I believe that is Kinnis in the backfield. And, that is number 24, Ivan Rodriguez. And we have a Vista Ridge player down after a gain of 4. Trying to see who it is. Training staff is blocking our view. We're glad to see them hustle out there. Boy, the training staff, vital part of a football program in the Vista Ridge Rangers training staff. They do a fabulous job.
It's nice.
Jose Carrillo, Ricky Fernandez. The head student trainer is Will Bennett, Zara Chima. And student trainers Becky Medrano, Amy Wong, Seda Amon Carrier, Mackenzie Manick, Sean Thornburg, Cami Placer, Michaela Martinez, Aubrey Hunziker, Emma Davis, Francesca Steins, and Sydney Allen. It's
Cannon Cromus.
Cromus is probably the offensive, defensive version of Ty Mayberry. Always going at 100%. Comes in there and just loves to hit. You can tell he loves to hit.
Certainly not afraid of contact. Absolutely. Walks away a little shaken up after that one. Hopefully he's going to be all right.
2nd and 6 from the 24-yard line. Three receivers here to the right side for the Raiders as Rodriguez stays in the backfield, and he's going to fake it to Rodriguez. Now he's got a receiver wide open. That is Walker. Walker down the sideline, tripped up at the 40-yard line by number 13. I don't see 13 on our roster. That's Corbin Bates. Excuse me. And he gets it all the way to the 45-yard line. A 21-yard pickup on that pass play. And it's 1st and 10. A fake to Rodriguez, and now pressure on Turner, and Turner's just going to throw it into the under the turf, and it's going to be out of bounds. Pass intended here in front of the Vista Ridge bench to Roundtree, sophomore wide receiver. This time great pressure there by Vista Ridge. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 45.
And we've got a flag down, though.
An eligible receiver downfield.
So one of the linemen may maybe get a little too antsy and get enough field before the pass was thrown.
So a 5-yard penalty, going to still keep it at 1st and 15. 8:23 left in the fourth quarter. Cedar Ridge comfortably ahead, 56-7. Rodriguez and Turner. And Rodriguez going to get the football going over the left side. Picks up some good yards there. A pickup of about 4 yards. Tackle made by Leighton Bolden. It's going to bring up 2nd and 11. And Turner has played the entire second half, played most of the second quarter as Brown had a short night. Deuce Brown had a short night. He went over probably 100 yards in a quarter and a half. Deuce Vaughn. As most of the starters have been rested here in the second half. And, how does that prepare, them not having, having to sit for long periods of time because of the lopsided scores? I mean, does it affect their play down the road here as Rodriguez again tries over the right side? That time a host of Rangers there waiting for him. No gain, 3rd and 11.
Well, to answer your question, I'd say that, yeah, I mean, it definitely can hurt preparation or hurt, playing time, getting as many reps as possible. But, again, the flip side of the coin is you want to get your backups as much time as possible, too, because you're not sure when you're going to need them, and you need to make sure that they know their assignments, what they're supposed to do on every down, on every play.
So 3rd and 11. Nice job defensively here for Vista Ridge. And now a fake to Rodriguez, and now Turner. He's looking deep. He's got a receiver down there in his zone field, and he's got it to 10 to the 5, and is brought down inside the 5-yard line by Malachi Bird, who got beat on that. And that was Colby Schoenrock, the senior wide receiver, with a big catch all the way to the Vista Ridge 5-yard line.
And it hasn't really mattered which
49 yards.
Which quarterback is in for the Raiders tonight. I mean, both these guys can absolutely wing it. That was a bomb of a throw and right on the money, a perfect pass there to set up the Raiders at 1st and goal on the 5-yard line.
And Rodriguez is going to get the carry to the Ford, driving and trying to push him into the end zone. The offensive lineman, no whistle yet as the pile keeps moving, and now the whistle comes, and it's going to mark it down at the 2-yard line. 2nd and goal, Cedar Ridge. Round Rock now leads Stony Point 43-7 at the start of the fourth quarter. Cedar Park trails Huddle 45-21 now in the third quarter. Vandergrift has already defeated Westwood 21-12. McNeil over Leander last night 55-20. Westlake over Del Valley 52-7. I believe Lake Travis is off this weekend. And now Turner's going to go to the left side looking for the end zone. Chase going to the pylon, cuts it upfield, touchdown. A 2-yard scamper by the Cedar Ridge quarterback, Jack Turner. And it's 62-7. .5:22 left in the fourth quarter. Camp in for the extra point now. Bat snap now. Turner looking to convert the 2-point play, and he throws it back in the end zone, incomplete. Putting the pressure on Turner is Carter. Not sure what happened there on the snap. I think he just dropped it. Trying to get it to the back of the end zone too. Marley Stevenson. Didn't look like it was a planned fake. But the extra point was no good. But the only thing that's gone wrong for Cedar Ridge here tonight is they lead at 62-7 with 5:22 left here in the fourth quarter. Again, we'd like to thank Elder Mitsubishi Motors for sponsoring Vista Ridge Rangers football. Foxhole Culinary Tavern, Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes, Randall Jones and Associates, Slotsky's, Serrano's Cocina y Cantina, Summer Moon Coffee, Vista Ridge Family Dentistry, Zaxby's, and Mike Bolden arranging the interview here with Randy Finley, bringing him up to the booth. Christy Gerasi also helping out here tonight. We appreciate her and the Football Booster Club. And again, Phoenix, Arizona is listening tonight. Casey and Dag Tibbs, appreciate your listening to the broadcast. And the Greer legacy.
We've got a number of West Coast listeners. It seems like, you know, my mother-in-law Lorraine Cruz listens every week from Murrieta, California.
So we appreciate everyone listening, and I know the Rangers are going through a tough season this year, but we appreciate the support. They appreciate the support. They're going to give 110% every time they step on the field, and tonight is no different. They're just facing a very, very good Cedar Ridge football team that brought back a lot of players from the state semifinals team from last year, their historic season. Coach Sam Robinson, it's a little pooch kick. It's going to be Janda at the 24-yard line to the 30, and he's just going to run it up and take whatever the cover team gives him, and it's going to be 1st and 10. There's Chase Messner. So things don't get chippy, as Jorge Pelayo was trying to get around Messner, and Messner took care of him.
And Bryce Jones with a little extra shove there too. I mean, you know, at this point in the game and down as much as you are, you know these guys are frustrated. And sorry about that, but you know, you heard Coach Vincent talk about those types of penalties. You know, if they're in the flow of the game, if they're, you know, that's okay. But when they're just blatant and they're just not in the flow of the game, and you just do it to do it, you know, that's not what he likes. And let's look at a little 5-yard penalty. They're at the 39-yard line, 5:10 to go here, fourth quarter. Cantu back in at quarterback. And Cantu is going to take the handoff. No, he's going to hand it off, and it's let's see who the running back is. It's number 25. That is Juan Aguirre, getting his first carry tonight. Picks up a couple of yards. 2nd and 8. Rodon now checking back in at running back. So even on the Vista Ridge side, we're getting to see them digging into the depth chart a little bit and getting some of these guys who don't get to play as often, get them some playing time.
Micah Morrow is in at wide receiver. Andrew Worthington is in as a wide receiver. Still have the starting offensive line out there. Cantu is going to take the snap. He's going to hand it to Roldan. Roldan over the left side, just trying to find some running room. But it's going to be tackled there by the first one to reach him was Dakota Regal. And it's going to bring up 3rd down after a gain of 1. 3rd and 7. Clock moving. 4 minutes to go here, fourth quarter. 62-7 lead for the Cedar Ridge Raiders. So the Raiders, again, trying to keep pace. So read where the Coach Robinson wants that district championship. They're still chasing it. We're going to be moving to 4-1 here in district play, 5-2 overall. And the way Round Rock is playing against Stony Point, they're going to be tied with Round Rock for the 2nd spot. And now Cantu looking, goes deep. He's got a receiver out there. Fogg this time a little bit too far, couldn't reach it. He was open as Fogg beat Brandon Crane out there on the right side. And it's going to bring up 4th down. And Hughes is in to punt the football away.
Yeah, I know that fall's incomplete, but Drew Cantu showing off the arm strength there. That's he's trying to throw it to the opposite sideline on a deep out route, and last season that's not something we would have seen from him. He didn't throw the ball deep very often at all, even when he was in. It was predominantly these intermediate routes, but so far this year we've seen him open it up quite a bit to show off the arm strength.
The punt, Hughes has to go to one knee. Oh, it looks like he was down. But he gets it away. And it takes a Cedar Ridge bounce to the 47-yard line. Looks like he fielded that punt on his knee. Should have been down way back inside the 30-yard line, but referee didn't see that. And it's going to be 1st and 10 Vista Ridge at the 47-yard line.
Yeah, and unfortunately that punt comes bouncing back towards the Vista Ridge side. A great bounce for Cedar Ridge, and Darian Carter was there to potentially down it, but he comes off the field grabbing at his arm. So That is definitely not something you want to see for the Vista Ridge Rangers. Hopefully he's got a bit of a stinger and he's going to be all right.
Turner back in at quarterback. And he's going to hand the ball off. It's Kinnis up the middle, all the way to the 45-yard line. Gain of about 9, make it the 44, 2nd and 1. Patrick Reed there on the stop. Colton Stahl in the game. Anderson is the other defensive lineman. Leighton Bolton still playing linebacker. Ahmet Mickey in at linebacker. And it's 2nd down and 1 for the Raiders. Again, it's Kinnis up the middle, breaks a tackle at the 45-yard line, still going, still spinning. And finally he's going to be brought down by Reed. Along with Brandon Song there on the tackle. Defensive backs, Jayton Garcia is in. Also number 13, Corbin Bates. Malachi Bird still out there. And John Nerma.
Cedar Ridge
1st and 10.
Just taking their time at this point with the clock ticking and, going to be under a minute and 40, potentially a minute and 30 by the time the ball is snapped.
As again, it's going to be the running back. That time, nice defensive play. Van Rodriguez, nowhere to go, and Colton Stahl comes up to make the stop. A loss of 2 yards on the play back to the 41-yard line. It's going to be 2nd and 12. As Kinnis checks back into the game. Dylan McDaniel, tight end, is in for Cedar Ridge. Lee Ryan's in at wide receiver. Andrew Woodworth in at right tackle. Trey Gonzalez is the center. As 2nd and 12, and we got 45 seconds left on the clock here in the 4th quarter. And it's going to be Kinnis over the right side. He's going to pick up the first down. Now it's going to be short of the first down by 2 yards at the 31-yard line. They don't have to get another play off. 30 seconds left. As we head towards the final horn, the final buzzer here in this one in the 4th quarter. Cedar Ridge will improve to 4-1 in district play, 5-2 overall. Vista Ridge will fall to 1-5 in district play, 1-7 overall. And this is a final. Cedar Ridge comes into Gupton Stadium and defeats Vista Ridge 62-7. We're going to take a very short break here and come back with a very quick post game as you're listening to the Elder Mitsubishi Motors broadcast of Rangers football right here on the KMAX Sports Vype Media Network.
KMAX Sports is the largest online broadcast company in Central Texas. How large is that? Well, imagine a downtown condo tower if it was full of sports. But first we'll have to evict the hipsters. Not cool, man. Not cool. But don't worry about them. They won't starve. There's plenty of food trailers left on Rainy Street. Oh, what's that? They ran them all out? Aw, poor hipsters. Bringing your teams to you since 2003. We are KMAX Sports.
In the battle for barbecue supremacy, warriors pit prime meats, secret sauces, and recipes against one another. Yet one champion stands alone. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, in the modern-day vernacular, where bad means good. Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue has the worst barbecue in Texas.
Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes is from right here in Austin. As you know, Austin has several fine burger establishments. That's why we're especially proud that Zagat has rated Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes the #1 burger in Austin. So is it Zagat or Zagat's? Like I said, there are several good burger places here in Austin. But as you know, there's good and then there's mighty fine. Mighty fine burgers, fries, and shakes.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.
And back at Gupton Stadium, where Cedar Ridge defeats the Vista Ridge Rangers 62-7. And real quick, things just started off on a bad note here for the Vista Ridge Rangers. As you look down on the field, you see Cedar Ridge coming over and listening to the Vista Ridge School song. That's a great sportsmanship right there. And we mentioned it's just a bad start. The fumble return by the linebacker there on the very first play of the game, 7-0, and then it's Deuce Vaughn, Jalen Ellis, Josh Brown and company just taking over, and Ellis with 3 touchdown catches tonight. Deuce Vaughn with a touchdown run, and Vista Ridge just could not recover from that opening play.
No, these are two teams that are playing at different levels right now. I mean, that's just the bottom line. We talked about it throughout the night that Cedar Ridge seems to be really catching fire these last few weeks. This is a team that started off with a loss at Temple. They have the heartbreaking loss against Vandergrift, but played them down to the wire. I think for me, and this is just from the eyes that that we've been able to see from some of these teams that Vista Ridge has already played, this is probably the second best team in the district, if not even maybe if that game was replayed, Vandergrift and Cedar Ridge, it might be a different outcome with as much firepower as these Raiders have.
And that's probably what the teams are saying right now. If they would play Vandergrift now this late in the season, him and Hendrickson might be saying that because of all the turnovers they had. And Vista Ridge had 4 turnovers here tonight. You saw some good things against a very good, quick defensive line, and and Cedar Ridge played their reserves almost from the halfway through the second quarter on till the end of the game, and they still put up 62 points. So Coach Robinson over there has a good football team. Football team has a lot of depth, and then Vista Ridge, we're still late in the season, and they're still looking for that identity. They're fighting hard. They're playing hard. Coach Vincent has them working hard, and just keeps telling them about the opportunities they have as they face the top of the district in the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season, because next week they had the field in Pflugerville to take on the Hendrickson Hawks.
And that's not going to be an easy test either by any means. It's a completely different story with the Hendrickson Hawks, though. They don't typically put up the amount of points that Cedar Ridge is capable of. Hendrickson, a much more of a ground team. They love to ground and pound you, but that defense is massive.
Yeah,
and
they got 2 linebackers, Stiles and Young, that are both Division I players. I think Young's going out to Arizona, and somewhere out in the Pac-10, he's going to be a Pac-10 player, and it doesn't get easy for Vista Ridge. But Coach Vincent, I mean, he has them working hard. He has them, it's a tough district from top to bottom, as you can see with Vandergrift at 6-0, Cedar Ridge 4-1, Round Rock 4-1, Hendrickson 3-2, Stony Point. Now McNeil leapfrogs Stony Point after the Stony Point loss. Now McNeil has a shot at the playoffs with them having Cedar Ridge, Hendrickson, and Stony Point still to play against. And just these teams are going to start beating up on each other here in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and it's going to be interesting to find out what the seed is at the end of the year.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be quite the battle for the last few weeks to determine who are the 4 teams that are headed to the playoffs out of this district. But and it's going to be interesting across Central Texas in a couple of districts. But this one here, a lot of folks are pointing at this one as probably the top to bottom the toughest district in the region. And it's hard to argue that, especially being this late in the season, and no one has broken out and already claimed the district title with just a couple of weeks left to go. And again, this is going to be very interesting to watch, very interesting to see how it all plays out. But right now, I tell you that Cedar Ridge has a very good shot to wind up as the number 2 team and get a great pull as they transition into the playoffs.
And elsewhere in 13-6A, Round Rock 43-7 over Stony Point in the fourth quarter. McNeil won last night 55-20. Vandergrift beat Westwood 21-12. The other big game here in Central Texas, Hutto over Cedar Park 52-21 midway through the third quarter. And Bowie over Aikens 28-7. Westlake beat Del Valle last night 52-7. As Friday night football winds down here in Central Texas. So we're going to go ahead and thank our sponsors again: Foxwell Culinary Tavern, Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes, Randall Jones and Associates, Slotsky's, Serrano's Cocina y Cantina, Randy Finley, thank you for joining us here at halftime, and Summer Moon Coffee, Vista Ridge Family Dentistry, and the official chicken of your Vista Ridge Rangers, Zaxby's. So final thoughts before we start the weekend.
Just on to next week. I mean, hopefully we'll see some things turn around for this Ranger offense and for the defense as they head into face a very difficult Hendrickson team on the road.
And thanks to all the listeners. Appreciate that. The Vista Ridge Football Booster Club. We appreciate all the work that they do, especially with homecoming a couple of weeks ago and everything they do for the football team here at Vista Ridge High School. We're going to say goodbye from Gutham Stadium. So for everybody on the KMAX Sports Vype Media family, thank you. And everybody enjoy their weekend. 62-7, your final score.
This is the KMAX Sports Network.